Foles needs. We've talked a lot about that already, really, over the last couple months and especially this week. But first impressions of Nick Foles, and I found this one interesting, and I think you'll appreciate this as a former player. You know, we heard a lot about the leadership, right? We had Sal Palantonio on, Nolan Carroll talked about it, good guy in the locker room. I don't know if I'm surprised, but I just didn't know if that would be the headliner when Nick Foles came to Jacksonville about his leadership. I just wasn't prepped for that. I wasn't ready for that part of it. And the respect he has in Philly, the respect he has from his former teammates, the respect he has for some of his former coaches, I think says a lot, including John DeFilippo. But he had a great line, and he said something you'll hear me say a lot. He said, what matters is what goes on in that locker room, is bringing those guys together and being a brotherhood. And, you know, that's a little cliche, right? But I thought the other part of it was really the fascinating part. He said, we complicate the game of football with X's and O's. But it's really all about chemistry and knowing the other guy, trusting the other guy. And again, sounds a little bit silly, sounds a little bit simple, but I kind of like it from Nick Foles because he simplified something that I think sometimes can be too complex, especially offense. We think we're sending someone to the moon, you know, in terms of an offensive playbook at times. I think we do overcomplicate football sometimes. And Nick Foles, I think, is going to try to dial that down a little bit, make it simple. And I think he already hit a hot-button issue in Jacksonville. He knows that locker room was not great last year. He's heard the noise. I think people in this building will admit that at times, that it wasn't where it should be. It sounds like he will rally that part of it. Now, it's going to take a bit of time, but is he overplaying that? What goes on in that locker room could translate to the field in your estimation? You're a guy who's been in many locker rooms.
Do I think he's going to overplay just how much is going to work, or how
much that will translate to winning? How important that is? I mean, do you just correlate teams you've been on? And I know the teams you were on here didn't win a bunch, so it's probably hard to answer. But does it correlate? Hey, if we feel good in that locker room, if we kind of like each other, if we trust each other.
Action Sports Jax, ESPN 690. Looks like we lost Brent and Austin here for just a second, so we are going to work to get them back. Obviously, today talking all about Nick Foles and how we are bringing him into Jacksonville here and trying to get a winning season again with the guys. Obviously, tons of sound. He had his presser today at 1 p.m., so we were hoping to get the guys back so that they can continue to talk about Nick Foles. In the meantime, we are going to go to a quick break to bring the guys back in, so bear with us as we get Brent and Austin back on the show. Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
As we reach our 67th year of serving the Jacksonville community, we are grateful for all the support we've received since our founding in 1952 at NAS Jacksonville. Today, ViStar still holds true to our military roots and is honored to provide ongoing assistance and financial education and to sponsor and participate in more than 200 events and charities each year. We thank our military and veterans for the sacrifices they've made for all of us and our community for putting their trust in us. ViStar Credit Union. We never forget that it's your money. Insured by NCUA.
All right, welcome back here to Jags headquarters. Sorry we dropped it up. I'll tell you what, it's amazing sometimes the technical part of our world. And I won't spend too much time on it, but this little machine here, if you're watching on Twitter and Facebook, Facebook's back up, right?
Yeah.
Instagram's back up. Are you watching on YouTube? I mean, it's so good. It's awesome. It's easy. We've been all around the world here in the early parts of ESPN 690. It's been very good to us. But there's an Ethernet line that works. It's supposed to be the safer way to do it. The last 2 days we've tried the Ethernet line, the hardwire instead of the Wi-Fi. I think it's knocking the machine off, and I think that's what happened again. So bear with us. Thanks, Coos, for rescuing us for a moment. But we were talking, translate to wins. Does it happen in a locker room?
I think it translates to success for sure. I mean, obviously, I can't speak on the offensive side of the ball, but I remember, I believe it was back in 2012 it would have been, or maybe 2011. One of those seasons, we had a top 6 defense in the NFL. And granted, we didn't have a lot of sacks, but from a team defense perspective of holding, opponents to not scoring a lot of points, we were, I think, number 6. And that was a testament to what Mel Tucker believed in, the fact that we didn't complicate things. Before when we played, we had all these blitzes and we had all these exotic schemes that we try to confuse defenses with. But what happened with that? it ended up being where players were getting confused themselves on defense, and instead of running the correct scheme, we had players making mistakes. So what he did was he simplified it. We probably only had about 3 or 4 calls on defense throughout that season, and we had success. So I think the same thing stems from the offense, where you don't have to get super complicated and whatnot. Obviously, you have to throw some more exotic looks, especially on offense, because defense, we're trying to stop the offense, and I truly believe if all guys do their job on defense, they're going to stop the offense every single time. I've been saying that since day one I've been on the show, Brent, but I guess we could have a conversation about that later. But getting back to my point where, listen, you don't have to overcomplicate things. And I think with an experienced guy like Foles, who's been in the offense with John DeFilippo, I don't see them doing that. But at the same time, just because you don't complicate things doesn't mean you can throw some gadgets there too and everything. It's just the fact that getting everybody on the same page. Because if everyone's playing on the same page, then you're playing with confidence. You're playing with confidence, then you're going to win games. So I think it does correlate.
All right, well, we'll see if it does and how much he can grab this room, and really say, hey, I'm the man. And I think the Jags did say that. They've welcomed him in like that. They all the free agents, big signings now come in on private jets and stuff, so that's not really different. But, heck, we had Sky Action News Jax following him today. Had the chopper. He's elusive, too. He got caught in traffic. We couldn't find him with the chopper eye in the sky.
So I was going to ask, what are the odds that we can actually, me and you, to take it out for a spin sometime?
Yeah, I don't know if it's very good. If we could have done that, I probably would have gone from here maybe to the Players' Championship.
Yeah.
In time, but I don't know if that. I haven't had a ride yet. I'd like a ride in the
Come
chopper.
on, man.
Yeah, I'd like one.
Martineau.
Well, I really want to do it like for high school football or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny today too. Some people were like, "Really? You're following them with the chopper?" It's like, whatever, man. Hey, when a storm cloud comes in TV land, we make it like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
A thunderstorm happens in Florida, make it a big deal. Why not? Have some fun with it. I was on live TV doing some parade coverage this morning. I enjoyed it.
Let me go and ask you this question. Do you think people are making more of a big deal of Foles coming here or Blake Bortles leaving? Because I actually saw the mayor tweet out this morning kind of getting in, Jaguars fans' faces where if you don't think Blake Bortles is a good quarterback, then I think he said you've never played Pop Warner or something like that. Yeah. Really sticking it to the fan base a little bit.
Well, listen, here's the deal with Blake, and this is just the way it goes down. When it's final, we've talked about Nick Foles for a long time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, everybody knew Nick Foles was happening. Wednesday afternoon, Nick Foles. All right, we give our opinions. Everybody gets excited. I think there will be a season ticket bump. I think all those things will happen. Go buy number 7 jerseys. And then the reality is we didn't quite know exactly when the Bortles stuff was going down. In fact, I was a little surprised it came down at 8 o'clock last night because I thought they were going to wait until Nick Foles signed his contract to actually make it official. And that would have been this morning. So they released Blake Bortles, even though he's known for a while, and they had a conversation late last week. I told you that yesterday with the brass, and it was a good conversation. Dave Caldwell told us today that he actually stopped in and said hello and goodbye to everybody on Tuesday. So he handled it classy. And I think the bottom line for me is, I even tweeted something. I said, hey, he took a lot of crap around here, And Blake Bortles was good for the community. Blake Bortles was great with the media. Blake Bortles was great with the fans. I think everybody in town, doesn't it feel like everybody in town has a story where they might have seen Blake Bortles, got an autograph from Blake Bortles, was around Blake Bortles? It just feels that way. When you're in a place for 5 years and you're the quarterback, you don't reach out and touch Tom, reach out and touch Peyton Manning. Yeah. You don't do that. I'm not even sure how accessible a guy like Russell Wilson is in Seattle. Well, in Jacksonville, Florida, it's unique. You can reach out and touch these guys. If you haven't had your picture taken with the guys that are on the Pride right here, if you haven't had your picture taken with Tony Baselli, well, then you haven't tried, right?
No,
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing when Bortles is around for 5 years. How can you not like the guy? And when you like somebody, you want it to work. Mm-hmm. I put in that line the other day in my story. I said it's like the girlfriend that you just want it to work. You want it to work, and then you just know it's not. Mm-hmm. And so I took a lot of flack even yesterday, tweeting last night about it, and just saying, I was happy that he had the 17 and 18. I was happy that he had some, and he could be celebrated because he was always broken down as a quarterback. He was always ripped apart as a quarterback. Well, for that month in December especially, when he lit up Seattle here on this field, he had moments where it was like, hey, I can puff my chest out, and I'm the guy. He was the best quarterback in the NFL for 3 weeks. He was. He was statistically the best, and I will always say he won the AFC South for them because of that 3-week run, which then allows a home playoff game and allows a little bit of the magic that did happen. But I also said he was not the greatest at I think, the hardest job in the world to be great at. And people are like, well, what about astronauts and police officers? and what about people on Navy ships? And I'm like, whoa, time out.
Astronauts are intense.
Time out. I didn't say this guy has the most dangerous job in America.
Yeah.
I mean, people on oil rigs work hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't say that he'd worked the hardest of anybody ever. The bottom line for me, and I'm not trying to be trivial about those other jobs, but I guarantee you there are more people that can be an astronaut and go to the moon than can be an elite quarterback and get a $100 million contract in the NFL. It doesn't happen. There's like 5 guys.
True.
Right? Rodgers, Brady. Everybody wants to be Rodgers and Brady and Manning. Well, there's not a Breeze. There's not a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely do believe, and I understand it's sports, but I genuinely believe it is the hardest job in the world to be great at. You can't find them.
No, that's true. Well, I'm not going to speak on behalf of astronauts because when I was a kid, I actually wanted to be an astronaut.
I went to space camp.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Lucky, man. I feel like I'm too tall. And actually, when I was a kid, my favorite book was I Want to Be an Astronaut, which I still have memorized to this day. But unfortunately, those dreams didn't turn into reality. It is what it is.
But anyway, to your point, I think people, listen, you like the guy. When you like somebody, you don't want to admit that they really aren't great. Right, or that there's a difference, and I think some people are really harsh and say, "Listen, the guy stunk. He's my quarterback. I'm paying tickets. I don't care if he's a nice guy." Well, that's fine. That's an opinion. That's a sports opinion. But I do think people, I think they could reach out and touch and feel Blake Bortles to a degree.
Yeah.
And to that, it made it a little different than a departure of a normal player.
I agree, but we just have to keep in mind, though, this is the performance business, not the player business.
And I don't think anybody's doubting the move. And I think everybody thinks they got an upgrade in Nick Foles. How so? We'll talk more about it next on ESPN 690 from Jags headquarters downtown.
As we reach our 67th year of serving the Jacksonville community, we are grateful for all the support we've received since our founding in 1952 at NAS Jacksonville. Today, ViStar still holds true to our military roots and is honored to provide ongoing assistance and financial education and to sponsor and participate in more than 200 events and charities each year. We thank our military and veterans for the sacrifices they've made for all of us and our community for putting their trust in us. ViStar Credit Union. We never forget that it's your money. Insured by NCUA.
The 4th annual Touch a Truck event is coming to Jacksonville March 30th at the Regency Square Mall parking lot. We are offering First Coast families the chance and opportunity to climb all over trucks and vehicles that are normally off limits. Guests are asked to bring non-perishable items to be donated to Feeding Northeast Florida. You can find more information, visit ESPN690.com or find us on social media. Just search ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Why do local women watch Action News, Jax? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News, Jax than any other station.
Tom Coughlin says to win lunch. Did the Jaguars win free agency? Nick Foles is coming to Jacksonville.
Foles gold for $88 million. We'll see if it paid off or not.
It's the talk of the town, and we'll talk all about it all week long from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, we're going to do it right now. We're going to talk more about Nick Foles being a Jacksonville Jaguar, his family here today, taking pictures. He talked about a situation his wife dealt with back in 2013, right about the time they got engaged. She has, for lack of a better term, a disorder, I think it would be classified as. It's a very long name.
Okay.
And it has something to do, like when she was going through it, like the blood, he kind of explained it like the blood would run down to her legs, and then she would be faint, like in her head, and so that's that's something that he's you could tell he kind of pushed the awareness of it, a little bit, and something that she still battles with and daily, but is doing well. Doesn't even need medication for it, but they spent time in Mayo Clinic in Arizona, he said, and obviously now right near Mayo Clinic if any needs. But he talked a little bit about his faith and very faithful person, and a lot of that stemmed from 2015, his time in St. Louis. I thought it was real, where he said, hey, I lost my joy of football. And part of what he said in the news conference, and then part of what he told us on the field down here was, I needed that, though. He's like, I needed the struggles. I needed to be benched in 2015. I needed to lose the joy to learn more about me as a person and also what I would eventually be as a player. He fully believes he wouldn't be in the situation he is today and in 2017 and 18 without getting knocked down. Tom Coughlin talked about the adversity that he's dealt with in the past as well. And I think that's the story of Nick Foles. I mean, you look at 7 years. He's never played an entire season. And while you look at that and you say, wow, that's kind of cool that he's getting this chance now at 30 years old, it also comes with question marks. I mean, you got to be able to play an entire season. You have to wonder, can he get through a 16-game schedule, whether it's injuries or consistent play? But I think you do. This is a cool story. Don't lose sight of that. Are they getting a great quarterback? We'll find out. Did they make the right decision, wrong decision? We'll find out. But I think from an individual standpoint, from a sports standpoint, this is a pretty cool story for Nick Foles to find this kind of success at 30 years old. Very few quarterbacks do that years and years after they started playing in the NFL.
And you kind of said it, Brent, with the fact that he's never really played a full season, so we don't know exactly how durable the guy is. But I remember a guy last year who played the Chicago Bears and took a hit to the ribs. And listen, I don't care if you're built like Cam Newton or if you're built like Sam Bradford. I mean, if you get hit clean, don't see the guy coming, it's going to hurt, okay? It doesn't matter how you're built. And, with Foles, I mean, there's speculation if he'd play after that. And listen, the guy, the guy's obviously, played. And so I think from that perspective, when it comes to durability and toughness, I think he's got it in spades. I really do. I mean, it's interesting his situations where he's always the backup in Philly, so he's never had a chance to prove himself, as the full-time starter just because he never had to. And then obviously in Philly, his first go-around with Chip Kelly, I mean, Vic was supposed to be the guy. Vic goes down week 3, and then Foles comes in. So Foles played that. I mean, take the 3 games out of it, but Foles pretty much played that whole season after that. So I think from a durability issue, with the question marks, I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
All right. Hey, I want to pass along as we continue to talk about football a lot today. We will talk about the Players' Championship, and I do want to update you. There's a lot going on in the sports world with local interest, so we have a lot to get to. We'll be all over the place today and trying to get a lot of this reaction to you. So in case you missed it, if you're just getting out of work or if you weren't able to get near a TV or a computer or radio, which, by the way, we carried the news conference on ESPN 690 earlier today and also on CBS 47 and Fox 30, much to the dismay of some soap opera fans, and we'll get to that down the road. I mean, I have the greatest ballin' and fallin' probably of all time, and it's coming up. It's unbelievable. It'll no doubt be the favorite part of the show. I mean, we could have Nick Foles on live, and this would still be my favorite part of the show.
I can only imagine what's coming.
That's coming up. I got to fix the dressing. How do you like our new signage out here, too? ESPN 690. You haven't even seen that?
I didn't even see that, no.
You're oblivious to everything.
I am. Well, hey, sorry. I was in smoothie mode trying to get you guys your smoothies here on time.
You know what?
Not show up late, Brent.
You don't pay attention to anything else. As long as you go to our smoothies,
yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
Tommy
sir.
Fleetwood's in the lead at the Players' Championship. Scoring is low. Is that your guy? Is that your guy? Was that your sleeper pick, by the way?
Tommy
Fleetwood's like a Ryder Cup guy.
That was
that's
my
not a sleeper pick.
Brent, hold the phone for a second. Before you throw me underneath the bus, we had a conversation yesterday because I don't really know golf that much, obviously, as people know who have been listening to me. I said, if a guy comes out early on the tee box, does that mean that he's not that good? And you said, absolutely. I go, okay, sounds good.
No.
Tommy Fleetwood was one of the very first players out on that course this morning. Therefore, I thought he wasn't going to be that good, and that's why I picked him as my sleeper.
Don't lie to the people out there.
I'm not lying to the people.
I said usually the marquee guys will go mid-morning or mid-afternoon, but I also said there is no such thing as bad player in this field. This
Tommy
is the best
Fleetwood
field
was
in
out
golf.
there before the sun even came up, Brent. Okay, so first of all, get off my sleeper. How's my other guy doing? I think I had
Who's the other guy?
Justin Johnson.
No, I had Dustin Johnson.
And then I had the other Justin Thomas.
Yeah, you're really locked in here.
Well, I'm with Tommy Fleetwood.
Justin Thomas. Rory McIlroy, by the way, 2 shots back, 5 under par, first round. Brendan Steele, 4 under. Rory Sabatini, 4 under. A lot of 4 unders. Billy Horschel, 3 under, had the lead at one time in the early morning. Dustin Johnson finishes 3 under. That's my guy to pick. John Rahm, Sergio Garcia, Matt Kuchar, all 3 under. So a lot of the big names right there in the mix after their first round. And we have to go way down. How far down to get to Tiger Woods? Ricky Fowler is 1 under par. Tiger was 1 over after 3 holes. I saw that. Jason Day and Jim Furyk are even. So is Jordan Spieth and Bud Cauley, who's a local golfer. Vijay Singh 1 over. Tiger Woods 1 over now through 6 holes. He's really doing, well, not much so far at the Players' Championship. So we'll keep you posted on the golf. Also, we do have some college basketball to tell you about. SEC, ACC tournament. In fact, we were playing the ACC tournament on ESPN 690, and apologies, Florida State fans, but our show trumped the Florida State broadcast, and Florida State is winning 17-6. So we'll keep you posted on that score, and then at 6:30 tonight, we get you back to ACC action, so you can hear play-by-play action of the ACC tournament all weekend long on ESPN 690. The Florida Gators. Oh, no, Providence lost 73-62. That's not good at the Big East tournament. The Florida Gators, I think, just won. I saw that.
They won.
You saw that, too?
Yes, they did. Sorry, I don't have a score for you.
66-50.
There you go.
And that will probably get them in the tournament.
Punch their ticket.
I would think, which is silly saying they punched their ticket with 18 wins. Most every other year that would be on the bubble. But Florida looks, I think they might have been in even with the loss. But this guarantees them a win, and you know what? They might have needed that win because of the St. Mary's upset of Gonzaga the other night. So probably a big win for Florida. Maybe they grab another one and really put no question at all into the committee. Selection Sunday coming up on Sunday. So we'll continue to update you from the players. Stuart Weber's out there. We'll check in with him. We'll hear from some of the golfers who did well today, including Billy Horschel. That's coming up. But it's obviously football day in Jacksonville. And aside from Nick Foles, which we'll continue to talk about, but I really do feel like we've talked about almost every angle on Nick Foles. Over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. Tom Coughlin talked for the first time in, I was trying to think about this, and I never did actually confirm when was the last time he really talked. We caught up with him a little bit a couple of weeks ago. We caught up with him at the wine gala, but I'm talking about all of the stuff, probably in November, and then maybe even have to go back before the season. He does not talk a lot. He doesn't say too much, and today he was short at times, but spent 10 minutes or so with the media after the news conference and talked about Blake Bortles, talked about Leonard Fournette, and talked about what else they can do now to put things around Nick Foles, and that's what it's going to come down to. He did defend the Blake Bortles signing, where people thought he made a big mistake, and they made a big mistake. This organization, they continued to defend it and said he had deserved the opportunity coming off the AFC Championship game, and they always go back to that. Said, hey, he was 5 minutes away from the Super Bowl. He earned that spot, so work out. And, Dave Caldwell, of course, drafted him, but Tom Coughlin, too, believed in him enough when he came on board to ride with Blake Bortles and then also give him an extension. So both gentlemen are on the books believing in Blake, and they will, I think, will go and defend the decision to extend Blake for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially as a general manager, you're not going to come out and say, oh, yeah, we kind of messed up on that one a little bit, right? So I think you're going to stand by your picks regardless. as long as you're the general manager, because I feel like you have to. I mean, Gene Smith stood behind drafting a punter in the 3rd round, So
yeah, I don't know if you should have done that.
Well, hey, I'm just saying. I mean, when it comes to being the general manager, I don't want to say there's ego involved, but you definitely have to stand behind your decisions. So I'm not surprised Dave Caldwell said that.
How excited are you here in Jacksonville about Nick Foles? What are these guys saying about him? You can always jump in on the phone line, 904-362-9901. 904-362-9901. What do you think about today? What do you think about this whole Nick Foles thing? Are you excited about it? Where is it leading to the Jacksonville Jaguars? We'll talk more about it on ESPN 690 next.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Boston was a pit of misery outside of the Celtics for decades in terms of winning. Okay, you had the Celtics and you had everything else that was kind of a big bowl of crap. These sports fans in Boston, they really have no idea how good they have it, and I wonder what it's going to take for them to understand the embarrassment of riches that has come their way.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and if you're looking for something to do for dinner tonight, I've got an idea. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years, fresh ingredients every day. That's what Renna's Pizza was built on, and that's what Renna's Pizza delivers. A menu to satisfy the entire family tonight. Fantastic pizza, fresh salad, and Italian favorites like lasagna. There's a Renna's Pizza near you, Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Be a part of the family and get dinner tonight at Renna's Pizza. Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you too will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
The 2019 Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio is here, and it's better than ever. It's your chance to meet the personalities on the new ESPN 690. Sit in the front row and ask your questions to athletes in town, sports analysts, and experts. You'll be able to see them in person. It's going to be the best year yet. So listen to ESPN 690 for your chance to win your way in throughout the year. It's the Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio, brought to you by Harrell and Harrell.
When things go wrong, you need help to make it right. Call the law offices of John Phillips at 904-444-4444. John will be by your side as an advocate and as a friend. Personal injury, family, and criminal law. If trouble finds you, John Phillips can help. He is a board-certified expert in civil trial. Give John a call, 904-444-4444, or visit floridajustice.com.
Don't miss Bush and Live this summer at Daly's Place on August 18th. Go to the contest page at ESPN690.com now and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show. Bush and Live at Daly's Place with ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Hey, welcome back here to TIAA Bank Field. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Justin Kuzart back there in the studios, ESPN 690 studios. You miss us, Kuz? I mean, we haven't been there all week.
Yeah, man, I'm getting lonely.
I'm sure you are eating all that Pollo Tropico and drinking beer back there.
By the way, yeah, you did miss out on the beer. I brought that home.
Wait, you brought it all home? I thought you were saving a six-pack for each of us.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. We got to pregame Austin's fight, so whatever's left is I'll bring it back.
No, I'm not too worried about that, man, because when Tommy Fleetwood wins the Players, I'm going to be collecting my 12-pack anyway. So.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was leaving it under our desk.
It's just Kuz, man. And honestly, nothing surprises me anymore with the kid. I mean, I just go with the flow, Brent.
I'm having trouble with this. I'm having trouble. I was looking forward to it. What kind of beer is it again?
Here's the other. Well, it's Salt Life beer, which is really good. It's a lager, but the problem is the guy who gave it to us. I know it's been in his car for a minute, so I don't
care about that.
All right, I don't know how great it still is, or if it's still fresh.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I actually looked that up. Like, even if you put beer in the fridge, now you can't open it. I'm just saying, but if you put like a 12-pack in the fridge and then put it back in your garage, you know, like I wondered if that would skunk the beer. Doesn't.
What do you mean you looked it up? Did you watch MythBusters? Was it on there?
No, I had to Google it because last year during our Dream 18 tournament, I had put a lot of them in the fridge accidentally, like the cases.
Yep.
And then I had to take a couple of them out, and so I was like, oh no, is this going to be bad? So I wanted to make sure it's good for the golf tournament, or I was going to have to buy new ones. So I looked it up recently.
Okay, Brent, and quick question for you: beer choice, and go.
Oh, I like trying the different craft beer, but I really don't have a favorite.
Okay.
I'll just tell you what's at our house. The wife likes Michelob Ultra, but I don't mind drinking Michelob Ultra. I'll drink Miller Lite.
There we go.
Again, I'm not a beer snob. I'll drink a lot. I don't like dark beer. I don't.
Okay.
The heavier stuff, I'm not a big fan. Like, I'll even drink it, but I don't love it.
Well, see, that surprised me, though, because a guy that likes coffee, you know, like, you don't enjoy a Guinness.
I don't. I really don't. Like,
okay.
again, I mean, I'll have it, but I don't. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And but I would say outside of, like, the Miller Lights, Bud Lights of the world, I really like Yuengling.
Cool.
Yeah. So Yuengling's probably the one I purchased the most. But I do like trying the others.
Yeah,
you know, I really like spreading it out. Like, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite ones right now is Bell's Two Hearted Ale. It's out of Michigan.
Okay.
But there are so many craft beers, and I really like I like a lot of them.
Yeah.
So you throw one in front of me, I probably will drink it.
Fair enough.
I was gonna say if you like Yuengling, then you definitely would like Salt Life.
Yeah, that's. Again, I would not. I know I like it. That's why I want one underneath my desk.
All right, I'll make sure one makes it back here. I'll make sure one makes it back.
Now you really don't have to. You keep it with the. Hey, listen, you get all lathered up for the fight on Saturday night.
Lathered up.
All right, and go support Austin. And you can too, by the way. Go to the Morocco Shrine Saturday. Fight night is a couple days away, about 48 hours away.
48 hours away
for you, and looking forward to that and getting a W. We're going to give some tickets away too, I think.
We are, yeah. I'm not sure if we can do that today.
No, we
or
can't.
tomorrow.
I checked. We can do it today.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
all right, so we'll do it a little bit later. We'll give some tickets away to the fight. And by the way, the place is going to be packed.
Yeah.
So it's not like easy to get the tickets.
Yep.
But Morocco Shrine, go support Austin Lane. You know what? I think I failed on this front.
What's that?
Like, what do you wear into the cage?
That's a decent. Like, so when I'm walking to the cage, or when I'm actually inside the cage?
Walking to.
Okay, so if I'm walking to the cage, well. So with MMA, the biggest thing, and same thing with boxing too, it's obviously getting warmed up and everything, getting a little sweat going. Because if you go in there cold, then you're more, you're kind of susceptible to get knocked out a little more. So we always get warmed up. So I'll probably wearing like a pair of gym shorts and I always have like a cutoff hoodie that I wear, kind of like Mike Tyson. Yeah. So I wear a cutoff hoodie and then a shirt underneath it. And then when I get in the cage, I usually switch it up a little bit. The past couple fights I've worn, they call them. Basically, they're like short gym shorts, but then there's like giant slits in the side because you can throw kicks. It makes it easier to throw kicks. Yeah. But I think this one we're actually wearing. They're called Valley Tudo shorts, and basically what that means is kind of like short spandex.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess if you have the body for it, might as well rock it, right?
Oh, you said that.
I guess that's what they say.
Maybe you go for a bike ride after the win.
There we go. Probably not. Brent, I'm gonna have a beer.
First one in a while, probably.
Oh yeah.
I like that, but that's why I think for the hoodie. Like, I'm going to get made up ESPN 690
That's genius.
Hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good, right? In the cutoff?
I would definitely rock that one. Absolutely.
So will I.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Ice guy.
So are we going to be in the stadium doing interviews wearing these hoodies?
Well, yeah, I don't know if we should wear it all the time.
Okay.
But, I mean, we might be able to, sell those or give them away.
Now we're talking.
Right?
Now we're talking.
I mean, that'd be like – nobody does that. Everybody's got, like, a polo shirt, like golf shirt, right?
Yeah, and that's something I'm never really going to wear unless I'm at Sawgrass. So, yeah, I say we get into the hoodie business.
Yeah, I think we're going to do it. I like the idea of doing that.
Cut off hoodies.
And then everybody who comes out and watches you fight can wear it.
Now we're talking.
Well, bottom line is, my whole thought in that conversation is we got to get ESPN 690 logo on you.
Yeah.
Well, Action Sports Jacks logo on you.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we need to support And advertise.
That we do.
Hey, let's get back to the Nick Foles conversation. We'll update you on the golf in a bit as well. But why did the Jaguars chase Nick Foles? Why did they pay him all this money? Take a listen to Tom Coughlin earlier this afternoon talking about why they went after the new number 7.
I am proud to introduce Nick and Tori Foles to you and the Jacksonville community today. Nick is the right person, the right quarterback for our team and our community, and here are 3 reasons why. Nick is a winner. He has faced adversity early in his career, but through hard work and perseverance, he led his team to a Super Bowl championship in 2017, and in so doing was selected as the coveted Super Bowl most valuable player. The next season, 2018, Nick stormed back with his team again and very nearly brought his team to the NFC Championship game. Nick has earned the respect of his teammates, coaches, ownership, and fans wherever he has been. And we look forward to his building of relationships here in Jacksonville beginning today.
There you go, Tom Coughlin talking about the impact of Nick Foles and what he can do in the Jacksonville area. And as for Nick Foles, what was his instant reaction the first time the rest of Jacksonville got to really get the thoughts of Nick Foles? That was earlier today. And, well, I think it's as simple as this. Nick Foles is excited about the opportunity he has to now be a franchise quarterback and, of course, sign a pretty good contract, too.
I'm really excited to be here. My heart's pounding in my chest just to be a part of Jacksonville and be a part of this community. First off, I want to thank Shad Khan and the Khan family for just allowing me to be a part of this family, about being a part of the Jaguar family. I want to thank Dave Caldwell, Coach Coughlin, Coach Marone, John Idzik for just working this last week to make this happen and just believing in me. This is where I wanted to be. And I couldn't be more thrilled. My wife and I, as we were driving in today, and we've been talking about all week, we can't believe that we get to be a part of such an amazing organization. We truly are blessed. The thing that I'm most excited about, honestly, is just getting to know my teammates, being in the locker room, getting to know their personalities. That's why I play this game, is to step in the huddle and play with the guys I love, my brothers. Those are the guys I lean on, and that's what makes a great team. It's what makes a great organization, is that brotherhood. And honestly, that starts with getting to know one another. And that'll start in April when we get together, and it'll carry on into training camp and into the season. And that's I'm really blessed to be able to play this game. The good Lord's allowed me to go on year 8 and be a part of Jacksonville. And this is where I want to we're putting down roots. We're going to go to look today and find a home. And we have a daughter, Lily, that we're going to bring here, our dog, Henry, and we couldn't be more thrilled to, be in this community, be a part of it, and, get going.
Wow, and that's what Nick Foles is doing actually right now. He's going to look for places to live in the Jacksonville area with his wife, and we said, don't go to Ponte Vedra. It's a little busy down there right now.
No kidding. Yeah, I mean, you think you'd probably go by the beach, right? That's kind of the hot spot.
Well, what's the hot spot for players? Marsh Landing. Used to be Queens Harbor.
Yeah.
Sometimes the beach. Some folks will go into like the San Marco area.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember, he's got a little one, right? 2 years old. Is young family, 30 years old. Would you be shocked if they ended up like in seriously in the Ponte Vedra area, Marsh Landing area?
Yeah, I could definitely see
Nocatee?
that. You just got to watch out for that traffic in the morning coming to the stadium, though, man.
Well, and that's the other thing too. That is the one thing I don't think you'll see a lot of players go down to Nocatee at times, because it take you a good half hour, 35 minutes to get in. Although the quarterbacks get in early, man. They get in at like 6.
Sure.
Hey, what did I tell you the other day? The Jags were going. This was going to be Jags friendly in year 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
From a cap standpoint.
Yep.
I think I even said this, and I said it on social media. $12 million cap hit in year 1, $21 million cap hit in year 2. Mark Long just tweeted out moments ago, Nick Foles will have a cap hit of roughly $12 million in 2019, $21 million in 2020. Just like I said, he got a $25 million signing bonus, so they spread that over. That's how they're able to do this, spread that over the length of the deal. $45 million guaranteed, not the $5 million. The other $5 million comes from injury guarantees potentially. So there's the story on that, and a little more background at how this came together, right? Everybody said it was a done deal last weekend. Was it really? give you an anecdote or two to kind of figure that one out. Coming up next on ESPN 690. Plus, we'll have a report from the players and who's winning the tournament at TPC Sawgrass.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Is an unhappy Thon Maker the answer? 53% of the audience said yes.
Thon Maker is going to excite anybody who hasn't seen Thon Maker play, correct? Like, that guy walks into the room.
How'd we get him?
Yeah, that guy's great. I would draft him first overall every time.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
You look at the way Paul George is playing, and you look at Russell Westbrook. I don't think anybody can deny Oklahoma City may be the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Tiger Woods birdied the 7th hole. He is now even par, chasing everybody, though, because there are a lot of low scores, including 7 under. Tommy Fleetwood, one of Austin Lane's picks, in the lead by 1 shot here in round number 1 of the Players' Championship. Once again, we'll cover the players, of course, like we have been all week long, and we'll keep you updated. We'll check in with Stuart Weber. We'll have some interviews as well from the golf course. We hope our Players' Championship coverage all week brought to you by the law offices of John Phillips. And we are also here at TIAA Bank Field for really a momentous day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. How it turns out down the road, we have no idea. I mean, we've said this a lot over the last decade or so. We've said it a lot in this franchise's history. This will be the 25th season, but hey, this is what the offseason is all about. You get excited about something. And in the past, we've around here had a chance to get excited about big money spent on certain free agents or just the hysteria of coming off one of the best seasons in franchise history last year, and the hope that maybe the next stage would be the Super Bowl. But this time around, you get very few chances to celebrate a franchise quarterback. Usually it's via the draft. This one happens to be a guy that's played in the NFL for 7 years, already made $31 million in his career, now turns 30 years old, and he's a Super Bowl MVP. And don't lose fact that he's not only a Super Bowl MVP, but he is a Pro Bowler and a Pro Bowl MVP. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy has a nice resume to him, and we will see where it ends up. And I know it's a mixed reaction. I know people think this is a mistake. Some people think that, you know. And what I say to people that disagree with what the organization does, or hey, if I think it's a great move, which I'm not sure it's a great move. I don't know if it's that. I just do think it's an upgrade at the quarterback position because of leadership from what we hear, I think accuracy as well, and I think the veteran nature of what he's been through already upgrades him over what Blake Bortles has been, who's been trying to fight uphill these last few years. But if you disagree with it, well, that's certainly fine, especially with this organization. If you want to be the critic on every move they make, well, they've kind of earned that because there's been a lot of not so great moves and not a lot of success out on this football field. So, with the exception of 2017.
You mentioned the word upgrade, and I think that's a key word here, because even back when I played, we had Dave Garrard, we brought in Blaine Gabbert. We thought he was going to be the upgrade. We thought he was going to be the savior. He wasn't. No. If anything, he was more of a downgrade. And then all of a sudden, Blaine Gabbert's gone. They bring in Blake Bortles to be the upgrade. And granted, I think there were times where Blake Bortles, yes, he was an upgrade from Blaine Gabbert and whatnot, but he wasn't the guy, obviously. So now we're bringing in Foles, who I think me and you can both sit here and say he is definitely an upgrade. I think he's going to be playing better, a lot better than Blake Bortles has. So from that perspective, you have to be excited just because, listen, the Jaguars have tried to upgrade at the quarterback position for a long time now and haven't done it to a lot of success. So when we bring in Nick Foles, proven winner, who has the accuracy, who has the decision-making in his belt, I think you can at least be excited at your starting quarterback going into the season.
Yeah, I think there will be that excitement, and there should be. But I also say this. Here's the difference. You just brought up a good point. The difference is when you go say they got Dwayne Haskins, right? When they got Blaine Gabbert, when they got Blake Bortles. So those kind of players, when you get them out of the draft, your hope, the expectation is they become Patrick Mahomes. They become Tom Brady. They become Aaron Rodgers. They become Russell Wilson. They become those kind of players. Well, we also know there's a swing and a miss in that, too. And really the swing and the miss rate is pretty good at not becoming one of those guys. So I really think Nick Foles comes in with this expectation of being better than Blake Bortles, the expectation of being able to win games and big games and be clutch, yet not the expectation of this guy has a chance to be Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady. And that might not be a bad seat to be in for Nick Foles. Might not be a bad seat to be in for this franchise. Because what I say is you don't have to be those guys. If you're a decent football team around that guy, and he's an above-average player, and think about what above average means in the NFL. Basically means the top 12 quarterback. If you have a top 12 quarterback in the NFL, I think you give yourself a chance to go to the playoffs every year. I think you give yourself, depending on how good everything is around him offensively and defensively, give a chance to make a playoff run. And obviously Nick Foles has shown you got a chance to win a Super Bowl too. And other quarterbacks have shown that as well, that you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. I mean, Jared Goff almost won a Super Bowl this year. And nobody's putting him in elite category. Nobody. So I think that's a nice spot to be in for Nick Foles. It doesn't necessarily limit the expectations for the football team, but it's realistic expectations, I believe, maybe for the football player at the quarterback spot.
As opposed to a guy that you're going to draft in the first round. Listen, I mean, and I've told this story before too. I remember during the lockout, and we were all practicing together as a team. We didn't have the coaches there, but it was kind of the introduction of Blaine Gabbert. And I remember watching Blaine Gabbert throw the ball, thinking, this dude's going to be something special. Yeah. This guy's got all the talent in the world, and talent is fantastic. Having good film from college is fantastic, and that's what got Blaine Gabbert to where he got drafted. But at the end of the day, obviously, and Jaguar fans will agree with me, he just didn't produce on the field when he played for Jacksonville, and a lot of it has to do with the mentality as well. So you can see a talented quarterback, on film in college and think he's going to be the all-world beater, and all of a sudden he gets to the NFL, and you don't know how he's going to transition. I mean, there's perfect examples like with Josh Allen in Buffalo. Granted, he's won some games and whatnot, but I'm not sold on Josh Allen just yet, Brent. I'm really not, because if you watch those games that he's won, he's relied more on his feet than he has with his arm. So I think that, the jury's still out on Josh Allen. I think Baker Mayfield obviously was a good pickup. Patrick Mahomes was another guy. But listen, for every Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes, there's always like a Geno Smith as well. And granted, Geno Smith went second round, but he went top second round. So you never know how a quarterback's going to respond. You never know how a quarterback's going to do from that transition to college to the NFL. So at least bringing in Foles, you know what you're getting.
Absolutely. I think you do know what you're getting. Now, there's still an unknown. Right?
Well,
like we said, 16 games, can he stay healthy? Yeah, I mean, he's got, if you look at his stats, he's 73% completion rate, which the Jags, of course, now will tout from last season, but that was a small sample, like 5 games. Mm-hmm. The playoff stuff, fantastic. He upped his game, no doubt. But there's also these dips where it's like, okay, what happened there? I mean, 56% and big turnovers and the streak. There is some thought in this building that he can be a streaky player. And streaky player, well, that happens with the quarterback position. It probably happens with all positions. But it's also a dangerous position to be in. And I think Sal Paolantonio brought it up to us. He said, listen, he can make some bad plays too. That New Orleans game, Philadelphia was running away with that thing until he threw that pick. And that kind of changed the momentum in that game. So that's the nature of the position. I mean, I think we've seen even all the great quarterbacks make those kind of plays or struggle through a couple of weeks. So that's just the nature of it. Kuz, if you're ready back there, we're going to hear a little bit more from Nick Foles from earlier today. And a little bit more on when he knew Jacksonville was the right team and his connection to the offensive coordinator, he obviously values that, and that could be a huge connection in determining the success of what happens with Nick Foles here in Jacksonville.
Ever since I became a free agent and, we gave the buyback to Philadelphia and we knew we were going to be free, Jacksonville was always on top of the list of a team I was looking at as a potential, because you really don't know throughout the process, because it just opened up this week. And early on this week, as we were talking and negotiating, I knew right then that this was going to be the place where my family and I would be, and we'd be able to be a part of this community and this team. And then, Coach Flip over here is someone that I've been with on the biggest stage. We've gone through so much together. We know each other's personalities. He knows how I like to, play the game, what my tendencies are, and we know how to work together. So that's something that is great. When you go into a new team, it's not always that way where you're familiar with someone, and I'm really familiar with Flip, so I'm excited about that.
ESPN 690. It looks like we may have lost Brent and Austin here. Some technical issues. So here's we're going to play another clip for you of Nick Foles talking about his ups and downs of his career while we try to get the guys back here.
I think through all the ups and downs, I've just sort of figured out who I am. I think a lot of times, especially in the NFL, you sort of lose your identity, or, it becomes who you are, and deep down there's something more inside of you than that. And I think, the greatest year of football I had was St. Louis, because I lost the joy of football and I was going to step away. And without that season, I wouldn't be the player I am today or the person I am. And that's through the trials of life. I've talked about the trials and the ups and downs, and it's all come down to I'm not afraid to speak on what's really going on in my life or in my heart and how to overcome it. I'm not afraid to speak that way with my teammates so they know, because the more transparent and real I can be is important, because when I step on the field, I want my teammates to know this is who I am. I'm not this way on the field and then I leave the stadium or I leave the facility and I'm one way. This is who I am as a person, and it's those ups and downs through football, through life, that have made me, equipped to handle this. And, it begins. This is a new challenge for me, and this is something that I look forward to because it is a challenge. It takes faith.
Well, there's Nick Foles, the new quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, talking about his style, like the way he plays football, his personality. We're going to all learn about that, but we hear good things about Nick Foles. I mean, again, the people I talk to, great dude, great guy. People, and you know that, right? You know that right away. We knew that part about Blake Bortles pretty immediately. Yeah. I think people around here, and to be honest, I think at times Blaine Gabbert we wondered about. We did. I mean, the public wondered about it. I think the media wondered about it. We didn't always see, good guy Blaine. I think if you knew him like you guys did, then you say, hey, he's a good dude. He's good. He's a good teammate.
Which he was, yeah.
But I don't think it always comes across that way. I think Nick Foles is more in the ilk of the David Garrards and more in the ilk of the Blake Bortles, where it kind of jumps out at you that this is a good dude. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of important in Jacksonville. I really do. Kind of this blue-collar town. I think they want to wrap their arms around that guy. And I think Nick Foles will be able to do that. I told you that, give you a little bit behind the scenes. How did this deal come together? And the big thing was, what was I on the fence last week, right?
Yes, you were.
And so I've heard a couple of things. Now, again, you never really know. But Foles, I heard a story. I'll give you a story where Foles' agent had apparently, or Foles wanted to tweet out, or his agent said he should tweet out last week whenever all the stories were reported, like, hey, Jacksonville, I hear you guys have signed me, but I haven't seen anything yet. Like, Foles was even joking about it. I think they all, again, the dots were connected, but I still hear that this thing came together on Monday. Like, Foles hadn't talked to Dave Caldwell till yesterday afternoon on the phone, ever.
So his wife was just on Instagram liking things from Jacksonville Beach just for the heck of it, Brent?
They knew they had a destination in mind. We have a destination. It's called The Break. And we'll talk more about football and the Jags and the players next on ESPN 690.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Did James Harrison ever tell Ben Roethlisberger to put down the beers and get in a little better shape?
Please say yes. Ben's in good shape.
He is?
Ben looks good.
If you say he looks good, he looks good. That's the deal.
We think he runs like a skyscraper, but if you say he looks good, that's fine by us. We'll let it go.
That's a good thing he ain't paid to run. He paid to throw.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
They say it should be impossible for bumblebees to fly because their wings are too small for their bodies. But bumblebees don't care. They just fly. Bright Expectations is dedicated to helping our Florida residents with special needs and unique abilities find the resources, support, and inspiration that they and their families need to break barriers and achieve their dreams. Visit www.brightexpectations.com to start your journey today.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
Get a floor that's 100% waterproof for life without sacrificing the style you want. The Home Depot has Pergo Outlast Plus laminate starting at just $279 a square foot. With 22 designer colors, Pergo Outlast Plus can fit any style, in any room, beautifully. And you can rest easy because it's waterproof. Get Pergo Outlast Plus starting at just $279 a square foot at the #1 Pergo waterproof laminate flooring retailer. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See warranty for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
And Virginia Tech, as this is the New York Life ACC tournament on ESPN Radio.
Get a floor that's 100%.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Well, we were checking in on an ESPN Sports Center update. Instead, checked in on the ACC basketball tournament. So let's do that. Florida State jumped out to a 17-6 lead. 26-24 now lead at halftime. So Virginia Tech closed the gap with a strong finish to the first half. Virginia beat NC State 76-56. So the Virginia Tech Florida State winner will play Virginia. Virginia Tech and Florida State both in the NCAA tournament. So is Virginia. So that won't even factor into them getting in. If you're just joining us and just wondering about the Florida Gators in the SEC, they got the win today, 66-50. Obviously, a strong defensive effort against Arkansas, and we believe that should put the Florida Gators in the NCAA tournament. Keontae Johnson, 20 points, 12 rebounds, so he comes on strong. A good player, too. Had some flashes, but that's a big one. Averages 7.5 and 5.8 rebounds, and he had a double-double today for the Florida Gators, so they get some big production from him. They also got 17 points from Kayvon Allen as well. I'm telling you, some of the offensive players for the Gators, they just disappear sometimes. Each night, you just don't know which one's going to be there, and that's part of their problem in that regard. So the Gators get the win, and I think they're in. The Florida State Seminoles at halftime up by 2, and out at the Players' Championship, Tommy Fleetwood in the lead, 7 under par. Rory McIlroy at 5 under par. And before we get to more football talk, and we're going to do a lot of that, let's talk about the players. The conditions, you can hear the wind even here downtown. You can only imagine what it's like at that golf course at TPC Sawgrass, where it swirls a lot more, it's much more open, and you're by the beach. So the winds are picking up in the afternoon. That was as expected. It was very good scoring conditions this morning out at TPC Sawgrass. Start, Billy Horschel, 3 under through his first 3 holes. Justin Thomas birdied his first 3 holes, then gave a couple shots back. Listen, you still have to play. Even if the course is there for the taking, you still have to be so good in all facets of your game to be able to score at TPC Sawgrass. Tommy Fleetwood able to do that with a 7 under 65, the best round of the day to date. There are a couple of good afternoon rounds now. Vaughn Taylor's 5 under through 11. Keegan Bradley 5 under through 9. Haven't heard that name in a long time. And JT Poston 4 under through 11 holes. Kuz, let's hear from Rory McIlroy, 5 under, 67. This guy's been playing fantastic golf. Could he jump into the winner's circle here at the Players' Championship? He's never won it before, but he thinks at least he likes the move to March.
Yeah, 100%. And the fairways also, I think the course over the last 10 years or whatever it's been in May, it hasn't lent itself to aggressive play. It's sort of position and irons off tees and, really trying to, plot your way around the golf course where, I hit drivers on holes today that I would never have hit driver the last few years. So just to be a little more aggressive, get a shorter club in your hand. And even when you are aggressive and you miss, it's a touch easier to get yourself back into position. The rough isn't as long or as gnarly. You run into that pine straw and you still have some sort of a shot and some control of your ball. And then when you miss the greens, you're not having to contend with that Bermuda. You're not having to guess, how's this going to come out? Everything sort of. So it has made it. It lends itself to more aggressive play. I don't know if the course is easier or not. We'll see what the stroke average is at the end of the day, but I think because it's playing longer, it'll play longer for most of the guys, and I think it should all even out. But I definitely like the golf course the way it is in March.
Yeah, I think that's really the overall take from the players. Now we'll see at the end of the weekend, depending on how they do. But golfers, they want things a certain way, and when they don't play, it's usually someone else's fault or something else's fault. But the golfers have really said a lot of what Rory just said. That's kind of the overall feeling of this golf course in March at TPC Sawgrass, and really the feel around the greens and the rough and the chipping, where those guys don't have to just guess on how the ball's going to fly out of the rough. That's an important part of it for those world-class players, and I think that's where they feel the biggest difference will be. We'll see with the scoring, good scoring, day number one, but somebody usually jumps out there, and I think some people predicted. I was watching the Golf Channel this morning, and I think some people predicted maybe even see a 62 or a 63. And listen, not to say 65 isn't good, but nobody was flirting with 63 or 62 today so far. And usually, if you're going to get that, you're going to get that in the early rounds, early morning round. Tiger Woods on the course right now, even par through 8 holes. He will make his way around, and that place will be buzzing. I heard the crowds were fantastic at the Players' Championship. We will check in with Stuart Weber in just a little bit. How about the first ever happy hour horn from TIAA Bank Field? Let's bring it on, Coos.
Hit it. Grab a drink, get a shot, tip your star tenders.
They might have heard that over at the Jacksonville Iceman.
Thirsty Thursdays, baby. Let's
Veterans
do it.
Memorial Arena. And yes,
Marcel
Thirsty Thursdays right across. We can actually see the baseball grounds right there.
Yeah, there we go.
Bragan Field at the baseball grounds. Very good. I feel like you have a career in like the refreshment guy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say as like a sports announcer. Okay, cool. Then I'll be the refreshment guy, whatever, bro.
Well, yeah, like the
programs
here.
Yeah, the guys that carrying the beers.
Cold beer here.
So me and my friend, when I played with the Chicago Bears, we went to a Cubs game. And there was a refreshment guy who was taking his job super seriously. And he had
as he should.
He had it was goose beer? Is there like a Grey, not Grey Goose, it's some goose beer. I don't know. It must be in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, no, it's Goose Island.
Thank you very much.
Which
Goose
I
Island.
also like. Now that you were asking, I like that a lot.
So he's like, let's get a goose beer here. So we pull the guy aside, and me and my friend Andrew, we go, dude, you have to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So we told him, he's like, that's the best thing I ever heard. So then the whole time he's walking past us, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Get a Goose Island beer. So, so if you ever go to the Cubs game and you hear that was me and my friend Andrew that actually came up with that idea.
Cubs game's pretty awesome, isn't it?
It's fun. I mean, obviously I hate the Cubs because I'm a Brewers fan. So
you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to admit it.
So I can't admit it, unfortunately.
Listen, I'm a Red Sox guy, but Yankee Stadium was really cool, and I say was because it's the old Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry, anybody that never went to the old Yankee Stadium, and if you go now, you're not getting the feel. You're not getting the ghosts you could feel at Yankee Stadium. You could feel them. You don't feel them at the new Yankee Stadium. It's a beautiful place. Really the best food probably I've ever seen at a stadium, and that was a couple years ago now, so maybe other people have caught up. But, I mean, they have every kind of food. I mean, it's like this – you go to, like, this world-class cuisine, it looks like, when you go to the concession stand. I mean, they got sushi and all this other stuff. So it's a cool place. But there's – I mean, Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, for us in the media, you actually walk out of the dugout when to go on the field before games and interview or get batting practice. I mean, shoot, man, it's hard not to think about walking out of that dugout and thinking of Babe Ruth and Roger Maris
for sure.
and Lou Gehrig and did I say Roger Maris?
I think so. Yeah, you're all right.
I did.
You're okay.
You know, but all the old timers in the Yankees, name your old timer.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you ever been to a game in Chicago?
I've actually been to a few of them. Yeah.
Wrigley? Yeah. It is definitely it's a cool experience. I mean. Like obviously there's no bells and whistles like I was accustomed to coming from Milwaukee, when they had Miller Park, but it does make you appreciate the game even more, the past couple years now at Wrigley a little bit. But obviously, like, when I went there, I mean, there wasn't like the video scoreboards or anything like that. There was the organ playing the whole time. There was like the old school ways of keeping scores like the other games, like where they had them in the field where people actually had to put the numbers up on the board because there wasn't like any kind of scoreboards going on. So from that standpoint, it's definitely a cool experience. And just, the whole city of Chicago and in that area, it is pretty good, but obviously I'll never be cheering for the Cubs as long as I live.
Well, and I don't blame you. I mean, it's not like I root for the Yankees. Yeah. I'm just telling you, it's a big difference. Like Wrigley Field, to me, old Yankee Stadium. Excuse me, do we have a sneeze button?
Bless you.
Yeah, by the way, we are sitting on pollen, too. Yeah. Like, this is not good for me.
Yeah.
Because of pollen. But so I might do that from time to time. But Yankee Stadium, Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, nothing like them. Now, I do want to go to St. Louis, and I do I'd like to go to the new Giants Park, but that's new now. Probably Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers.
Well, when you go watch the St. Louis Cardinals play, be sure to go get some of that great food that the guy was talking about yesterday at Sawgrass.
You almost got in a fight.
Yeah, dude got a little offended.
You almost got in a fight before the fight.
Yeah, guy got a little offended for me calling out the St. Louis Cardinals food that they're bringing to the table with an extra large slice of pepperoni pizza. What a game changer, St. Louis.
Hey, back to football talk in a moment, but let's do one more on golf because we just got some reaction in from Dustin Johnson. 3 under par, world number 1, right where he needs to be after round number 1, 4 shots off the lead. Fantastic player. My pick to win it this week at the Players' Championship. Let's hear from DJ.
I felt like I played pretty solid all day. Obviously, a little frustrated with the 6 on 9, but other than that, all in all, it was a really good day. I felt like I gave myself a lot of chances. I rolled it pretty good. I didn't really make any putts, but just played really solid. I feel like the course plays much better now. The only way I played it was in May, and now I just feel like it's more, I don't know, if you hit a good shot, it ends up close to the hole. And when before you could hit really good shots, it would end up in terrible spots, where now I feel like, if you hit a good shot, it's close. And you get rewarded for good shots.
Thanks. What? Are we on?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, I thought you said about a minute, Kuz.
No, I was talking about commercial break.
Sorry. It was like a minute. All right, I'm going to listen to DJ talk a little bit more. Good thing I didn't drop an F-bomb or something.
Kuz just throwing back the beers right now back in the studio, I mean, feel like.
The wind was howling. I'm trying.
Oh, no, I think we lost the guys. ESPN 690. I think we lost them. All right, here, we're going to go to break real quick. I'm going to get them connected again, a little technical difficulties here. We'll rejoin with them right after this commercial break here on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Did you know that March is Florida Bicycle Month? In Florida, bicycles are vehicles and have the same rights and the same responsibilities as other vehicles on the road. For more bicycle safety information, visit alerttodayflorida.com.
The Bearded Villains of Jacksonville presents the Dirty South 4 at the Jacksonville Landing on March 30th. This is a DSV4 regional meet, and all proceeds benefit the National Kidney Foundation. Beginning at 7 p.m., there'll be a beard competition, including a ladies division. Ladies, be creative and make a beard you'd be proud to show off. Admission is free. Get more information at bv904.com or send an email to bvjacksonville@gmail.com. March 30th at the Jacksonville Landing starting at 7 p.m.
Whether you're buying a new or pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
Have you always wanted to know a guy in the boat business? You now have a guy. Guy Morrison and his staff at Consignment Boat Sales will help you with selling or buying a boat. Consignment Boat Sales offers a professional and no-hassle way of helping boat owners sell their pre-owned boats and assisting soon-to-be boat owners with finding that quality pre-owned boat. Consignment Boat Sales will help you in valuing your boat, preparing it for market, performing water tests with potential buyers, and finalizing the sale by handling the closing documents. Consignment Boat Sales is looking for quality bay boats, flat boats, center consoles, skiffs, and deck boats from 14 foot to 30 foot. Find them just past the ferry landing on the way to the Mayport Public Boat Ramp. You now have a guy in the boat business. Find Guy at jaxboating.com. That's JAX boating.com. To help you sell your boat or purchase a pre-owned boat, contact Consignment Boat Sales today at jaxboating.com.
Your lack of retention is a breathtaking thing that should be among the 7 wonders of the world.
I couldn't see the uniform through D-Bot's smoke.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Woo, I wonder how that wind's blowing. Because it is rocking here at TIAA Bank Field, and wind's howling. We're just up in the clubs, the West Club. Good place to watch a game. Welcome to Duval, Nick Foles and family. We're right out here. Great spot. Fantastic spot. Kind of all alone. It's nice. You can yell.
Mm-hmm.
You can't swear because we're on radio.
Yep.
We can do just about anything else. If you have to, check us out.
in the pool?
Yeah. Well, that's it. First Coast Bubbler on Twitter said, you guys should do it from the pool. Do you know this?
Yeah, why
trivia?
didn't we do it from the pool?
That's a good question.
Come on, Brent. You're better than that.
Yeah, we'll come back out and do it from the pool. Well,
Nice.
partly because I don't want to take off my shirt right now. I need a little bit more of a tan.
You just put your T-shirt on, man. Go in the pool. It's cool.
Need a little more tan and maybe a couple more pounds off. I don't want to do that just yet.
I'm no expert, but I feel like there's a lot of technology that probably shouldn't get wet.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it kind of from the pool, though.
Don't try to ruin my fun, man.
We could do it kind of from the pool. I like John Bachman, by the way, was just watching us, and he saw me make a save on the smoothie when the wind blew it over, and I got it. Quick hands. But I want to tell you a story. Little trivia question.
Hit me with it.
Do you know who did the first cannonball into the new pools years ago?
My guess would be Jackson DeVille.
Wrong.
Was it you?
This guy right here.
Seriously?
Yes.
Dang.
This guy right here. Cannonball, tens all around. A couple years back, we did it, our Action Sports Jacks primetime from the pool. Fully clothed. Went all in the last segment of the show.
Dang, man. That's pretty legit.
Damn good cannonball, too.
I'll tell you a quick story about the pools, too, as well. So, my friend Mylan, who I think you've met at when you hosted.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he was at the Shaquem Griffin event.
Yeah, because he's a giant UFC fan, UCF fan. He's also a Cleveland Browns fan. So when Cleveland played here, I think it was back in 2014, as obviously it was the whole Johnny Football experiment, all the Johnny Football hype. And do you remember the viral picture of Johnny Football with the swan or whatever like that? Remember he was
Yeah.
Swan?
I do. Yep,
so it was my friend's goal to sneak in with his Johnny Manziel football jersey and sneak a swan in, and then hop the railing and go jump in the pool. Unfortunately, security caught him, and that was put to rest real quick. So he cannot put the inflatable swan in one of the pools for the Cleveland Browns, unfortunately. But props to Jaguar security for doing their job.
Very good. Hey, come by maybe we'll do a show by the pools. We'll get the swan and cannonballs out.
Yep.
Maybe we can do it at some point down the road.
That'd be fantastic.
All right, let's. We talked a lot about Nick Foles. Let's talk about other things that happened today, because Tom Coughlin talked for the first time in a long time. Doug Marrone talked. Dave Caldwell talked. So there was a lot to ask about. And first and foremost on everybody's mind really is Leonard Fournette. And where does this team stand with Leonard Fournette? And how motivated will this guy be? How ready will he be? This is such an important part of this team this year in this offense and Nick Foles' success is Leonard Fournette. All you have to do is look at the difference between 2017 and 2018, and Leonard Fournette's a big reason why there was a big discrepancy between those 2 years. So here's a thought from Tom Coughlin when asked about the Jaguars' third-year running back.
I have confidence that if with Leonard, a prepared Leonard coming into camp with a mindset that he discussed and we talked about, I have full confidence in him. He does have some things he's got to prove when he comes back about, his preparation but he's a young player. He loves football. Had an outstanding year, had a very disappointing year, and I think he wants to. We want him to be a great player, and I think he's in the same mindset.
Well, there's Tom Coughlin talking about Leonard Fournette, and I thought this was pretty interesting. They obviously cleared the year. We've talked about this a bunch. Mm-hmm. I think there'll be a chance for him to earn some of those dollars back down the road, depending on what he does availability-wise and production-wise, and probably personality-wise. And Coughlin says, listen, he basically says he's got to be a better professional. Isn't that kind of the way you would translate that in a nutshell? Mm-hmm. So he's acknowledging that, hey, he's got to get it going. And he talks about durability. That's the most important thing. And to me, that's a little bit out of everybody's control. I mean, you can come in shape, you can not come in shape. I get that, but we see him working in Wyoming. The guy's going to be in good shape.
He came in 20 pounds lighter than he's ever been before coming into the past training camp. So I don't know if that's a result of him going on a diet or him working out well, but the perception was the fact that he's in the best shape of his life last year.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, when you feel that way, what did we talk about at the beginning of last year? We said, he has maybe elusive. Mm-hmm. He wasn't making people miss that much. Well, now people get excited, like, okay, he's 20 pounds lighter. He can maybe make people miss, and now he's got a little bit more burst, and now he can do this and that, and just adding to his game rather than taking away from his game. What I have always found, and you're a guy that's done this before in this league, but I remember when they have tried to put weight on guys or tried to take weight off guys, it usually doesn't benefit the player. And I think Malik Jackson may have fallen into that. He might have got too light last year. Now, a guy that it did work okay with, Calais Campbell. Campbell dropped like 10, 12 pounds last year, and he played fine. But the bottom line is when you play, you're used to playing one way, and you play a different way. I think that's difficult for a player, but more so than advantageous for a player in 9 out of 10 spots.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, look no further than when I went to Kansas City. Kansas City recruited me for a 3-4 defensive end, and obviously they had the first dibs on the waiver, so I had no choice but to go there. I wasn't too keen on it. I wasn't excited, but obviously I tried my best to fit that scheme the best I could. But, I had to put on literally 20-something, about 25 pounds from the time I got cut in the spring to the time training camp started in Kansas City. And granted, I ended up getting up to about 285. But I can attest to it. It was fun gaining that much weight. but as far as my player performance and whatnot like that, I just didn't feel right. Obviously, I felt a little slow. And I feel like the same thing too. If you lose weight, now there's positions. Obviously, if you're a quarterback, you lose a little weight. I think that's fine. Sometimes you could question your durability a little bit. But I think as a running back, if you start losing too much weight, well, then obviously the durability is a big thing. So I just feel like players should play what they come to play. Listen, C.J. Anderson came out of nowhere. He was first team all dad bod and tore it apart for the Rams. So I think, from a running back perspective, you shouldn't focus. I mean, you should do what you're comfortable with, So I don't think we're going to see another Leonard Fournette who's, another like 10 pounds lighter this year. I think he's going to do what he's comfortable with. And, talking about Leonard Fournette, this is a huge year for him. And I don't know him personally. I'm not sure if he's motivated more by having success, if they money, motivation by winning a Super Bowl. Whatever the motivation is, this is the year to showcase that, because whether it's money, winning, or success, or just enshrining yourself as one of the best Jaguar running backs of all time, it's got to happen this year, because if it doesn't, you could see some changes. So there's a lot going on with him this year, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds to it regardless of what he's playing.
Well, and I think all signs point to, see, I'm of a belief, I think guys like Telvin Smith, Yannick Ngakoue are going to have monster years this year. One, Yannick Ngakoue because of his development, and he just plays with a chip already. He stays hungry, and he's got a contract to play for. Telvin Smith, I think, got punched in the mouth a little bit last year and said he got criticized a lot, and I don't think he played well for a lot of that season. Now, played well at times, but I don't think he played well all the time. And so I think you get punched in the mouth, and you got pride as an athlete, and you're going to go work harder, and you're going to make yourself better, and you're going to show that you were better than you were the guy you were in 2017, not in 2018. And I think Leonard Fournette fits there. Now, I don't know, to your point, I don't know the motivation. But I do think he's motivated by money. I think everybody's motivated by money. I think everybody's motivated by $7 million. And I think he's really motivated by money. And I think this is a huge year, to your point, to maybe get that money back. But also it starts shaping this organization's plan. Say things go well for Nick Foles and this regime, and now they're here for a while. Well, it starts shaping the plan for this organization when it comes to Leonard Fournette. Do we pick up the 5th-year option? Do we invest in that? Do we someday give him another contract and a second contract? Well, he's got this year to reverse any ill will that he built last year. And then you start saying, if you're Leonard Fournette and you're his agent, you're saying, hey, all right, we had a bad year in 2018. Couldn't stay healthy, didn't attack it the right way, had to grow up a little bit. But look at 2017. Look at 2019. Well, now you can start building towards something. I agree with you. I think it's a huge year. And it's a huge year for Leonard Fournette, which makes it a huge year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team cannot function the way it's built. This team cannot function with a mediocre or bad Leonard Fournette. They need an above average to good, if not great, Leonard Fournette with what surrounds this football team at the moment, until you show me that they've got playmakers all over the field that right now I can't see. I can see number 27. I'll give it to you for that man on the big board, Nick Foles, number 7, and I'll give it to you for number 12, D.D. Westbrook. I'll give you those 3 guys. I have no idea Marquise Lee's coming back at full health. I don't know what he'll be. And other than that, I can't figure out where these guys are making plays for 35 yards, 50 yards, scoring touchdowns, getting in these end zones, making this place go bananas. I can't find it. And so if Leonard Fournette can't give that to you, well, this is going to be another tough year on offense for the Jaguars, in my opinion.
And from his perspective, too, if Fournette can't, if he can't really replicate his first year and he has more mediocre play, the last thing you want to be in the NFL is a mediocre running back, especially as a free agent, because look at Tevin Coleman. I mean, Tevin Coleman had a pretty decent season last year, signs for 2 years, $8.5 million only.
Yeah, you wanted to throw a ton of money at him.
Yeah, so I think from that perspective,
God, you're not the GM.
So from this, from my perspective, if I was the GM, obviously I'm telling Leonard that he's got to have a great year, because if he doesn't, you could kiss some of that money goodbye, I feel like.
Potentially you could. I'm not done with Tom Coughlin, Dave Caldwell, Doug Marrone. Their thoughts on other things, including the playbook. And next, what else do they need? Plus a ballin' and fallin', at least that I'm overhyping. But I got to bring this to you, and it's coming up. I don't know what you have, but I got something.
Okay.
All right? Okay. And it's got to do with soap operas. It's got to do with live television, and it's got to do with Nick Foles. That's the best tease I got.
Yeah, I think that's all you need, really.
And that's next on ESPN 690.
Built with the biggest names in sports, all on one radio station. Golick and Wingo, Dan Le Batard, Stephen A. Smith, and Action Sports Jack's Brent Martineau every afternoon. Plus, Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And major breaking news in sports when it happens. Make us your only button for sports. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. The all-new ESPN 690.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 is on the road again, live at the Players' Championship in Ponte Vedra. Join us every day from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 AM or stream us on ESPN690.com. Our coverage brought to you by the law offices of John Phillips.
The Bearded Villains of Jacksonville presents the Dirty South 4 at the Jacksonville Landing on March 30th. This is a DSV4 regional meet, and all proceeds benefit the National Kidney Foundation. Beginning at 7 p.m., there'll be a beard competition, including a ladies' division. Ladies, be creative and make a beard you'd be proud to show off. Admission is free. Get more information at bv904.com or send an email to bvjacksonville@gmail.com. March 30th at the Jacksonville Landing starting at 7 p.m.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. New South is Florida's factory direct window company. We cut out the middleman and his markups because we manufacture, install, and guarantee your windows for life. Our new manufacturing facility has tomorrow's technology today to make sure your windows are built for Florida's extreme weather. Don't even think about buying windows from anyone else till you see what our factory can do for you. From our factory to your home. Now that's factory direct.
Buy more, save more. Volume discount up to 30%. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
The spread and that college-style offense. Listen, in 3 years, you might see the Big 12 be run by the NFL because it's the exact same kind of offense that's going on here.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jacks is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Welcome back to ESPN 690. Video shoot quick. So I'm taking over until he comes back. For those of you wondering about the Masters, the TPC players, I believe Tommy Fleetwood still in the lead, a guy that I called, obviously. We'll have some audio from him later and whatnot, but Brent kind of teased it, and I'll get into it. Let's get into balling and falling right now. I'll start things off with my balling.
Hey, by the way, it's not a video shoot; it's TV shoot.
Sorry, man.
And that's when you plug up
welcome back.
CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Well, okay.
Don't just
Welcome
always
back.
say it, okay?
Okay, Brent, sounds good. Welcome back, man.
Thank you.
It's good to see you too. In case you're wondering, Tommy Fleetwood's still winning. All right. Speaking of balling and balling predictions, balling. Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin had a few comments regarding Odell Beckham on his big move. Martin said, and for those of you who don't know who George R.R. Martin is, Brent, Game of Thrones, okay?
Thank you, because I didn't know.
Okay. So George R.R. Martin
Do I have
said,
to watch Game of Thrones?
Yes, you really need to watch Game of Thrones. You and Coos, because both of you haven't
Marcel,
watched
you watch
it.
Game of Thrones?
What?
Yeah, that a baby, Marcel.
I am surrounded by nerds.
I want to give you a fist pump right now,
I'm
baby.
surrounded by nerds. Anyways.
Wait a minute. I figure like you are a nerd if you watch Game of Thrones.
No, I'm just part of society.
See, that's what I think in my world.
I'm just a part of society. Anyways, George R. Martin quoted, Beckham was one of the best receivers this storied NFL franchise has ever had in their history, and probably the best receiver they will ever have. They are certainly not going to replace him with the 17th overall pick in the forthcoming draft. I am in a big blue nightmare. Which is pretty bad coming from the guy who actually wrote The Red Wedding. So for him to say he's in a big blue nightmare, it's a big deal. And I did a little research on George R.R. Martin because that's what I do. And it turns out he's actually a diehard Giants fan. So much and all you Game of Thrones fans listening right now are going to love this. If you guys remember the wildlings, there was a giant wildling named Wun-Wun. Well, Wun-Wun is spelled W-U-N. Well, it turns out that Wun-Wun is actually based off of Phil Simms, who was what? Number 11. So 1-1.
Ah, very good.
So George R. Martin threw that into the book, and obviously 1-1 is also in this TV show as well. Brent, Marcel, don't know what I'm talking about. Not a big deal. Everybody else, I mean, literally the millions and millions of fans listening right now know what I'm talking about.
Well,
so,
they probably do.
George R. Martin, you are balling.
I was going to say, I knew like maybe 3 words that you just said.
That's cool, man. You know what? It's like the most popular show of all time, so people are going to understand what I'm saying.
Well, listen, like the...
you don't have to get on board if you don't want to. I don't care.
I'm glad that everybody liked that, because I didn't.
Like that, it's still going on.
I'm just glad that they liked your ballot.
Oh, okay,
because
cool.
It Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
I just have no feelings about it.
Well, you know what? Game of Thrones is doing just fine without you being its fan.
Yeah.
So, fantastic.
I'm blowing snot bubbles right now, so I got a little bit of an issue myself.
Yeah, the pollen's getting in my throat a little bit, too, here. It's,
Man, it's unbelievable.
hazard
I can't
conditions.
shake these allergies. I mean, when are we going to get rid of this stuff?
You know,
I just had my house power washed to hopefully get rid of all the pollen.
okay. Well, I'm sure it'll come back a couple days
I
later.
mean, my
right?
house was a mess. Oh, Stuart, you're killing me. Ask Stuart if
Game of
Stuart's
Thrones
on the
fan.
line. Game of Thrones. You want to get him in?
Get him in here.
All right, we'll get an update. My ballin' coming up. You don't want to miss it. But all right, let's welcome Weber in and talk a little golf
And Game of Thrones.
because he might not have another moment to do it. Weber, are you Game of Thrones guy?
I am, yeah.
Hey, Kuz, you gonna play the music or what?
I'm getting there.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I'm getting punchy on the show today.
Oh, we are. The tensions are high. Stuart, I'm not sure if you listened to my ballin' segment, but I actually mentioned George R.R. Martin for his Giants comments about Odell Beckham Jr. Well, what I
Yeah, he's
talked
not
about was
happy.
the fact. Okay, so obviously you're a
Hey, can we
diehard.
listen to his music?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I don't know if we should play the music today. I got a hat on. Does that count?
We'll visualize your hair.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Go again. Game of
Can I
Thrones.
finish? Okay. So
This thing's all over the map right now.
Can I just finish the thing? All right, so, Stuart, as you know, there's wildlings. In the wildlings, there was a giant one named Wun-Wun. It was spelled W-U-N-W-N. Well, it just so happens that George R.R. Martin is a Giants fan, New York Giants fan, and Wun-Wun was actually Phil Simms' number back in the day, so George R.R. Martin named him, since he was so big, he was big time, named him Wun-Wun, which was obviously for Phil Simms. Little Game of Thrones trivia for you. You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so beautiful that we just had to hear it twice.
Thank God
Thanks
somebody
for calling
appreciate
in. When
Hey, I mean, it's only the most watched TV show of all time, okay? I apologize. Go ahead and
Hey,
talk
so
about
I'm at
your
the Players,
daytime job.
actually. I'm at the Players, and I can't confirm this, but I think I might have just heard a tiger roar.
Oh, I get excited about Tiger Roars.
He's on 11, and I'm behind 10. I just got him making birdie here at 10, and
He just made
I
birdie to get into the red.
Yeah, he got into the red. A little nice putt made by El Tigre here at the 10th, and I just heard a huge roar, the type that you would expect to come from one Eldrick Woods.
Well, Tiger Tracker on Twitter says going to be go zone on 11 if anyone's interested, which means he just drove it. I don't think he did anything unbelievable yet. But
okay, well, he might have.
I wonder if somebody else did something.
He might have already. That's a good question. It might be. It was a doozy. I'll say that.
All right, we'll figure it out. So, hey, what's going on, man? The wind swirling, early morning, beautiful. You were out there nice and early, which doesn't usually fit your sleep schedule. But we appreciate your hustle and covering the Players today while we're all over here at the Jags. And give us a sense of what's going on. I heard big crowds, beautiful weather, but the wind is up in the afternoon.
But yeah, no, it is gorgeous out here. The wind and otherwise, it's just nice out here right now. I'll say that. Yeah, the winds are whipping. Really affecting these guys in the afternoon crowd. Of course, Tommy Fleetwood in the lead at 7 under in the clubhouse. He did his yeoman's work in his second 9, which is kind of surprising because a lot of the big scores came really early when everybody was just birdie right out of the gate. And the guys who come to the podium thus far have really said the fact that it's softer. Obviously, because it's a little wetter out here, but the course is playing longer, so they're not sure if it's easier per se or if it's just different. They all say it's very different because the course plays longer. You're not getting as much roll. Ball stopping when it hits. So there's some scores to be found out here for sure. And I don't know how much of that is due to obviously the March over May. I think a lot of people seem to think that. So good scores today. I'm sure we're going to get a lot Saturday too.
Yeah, we got rain on Monday night, which softened the course up. But keep in mind, they've got all that stuff underneath the greens now where they can basically heat them up, cool them down, whatever they want to do, so they can control a little bit of that. But I think this is going to be two different golf tournaments, Weber. If we're looking at Mike Borish's forecast on CBS 47 at Fox 30, you're going to get this beautiful weather we're having with a little breeze, of course, that swirls. That's Thursday, Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I think it's going to feel a little bit more like February in Ponte Vedra, where low 60s are the high, and you wonder what that does to the golf course and to the scores.
Yeah, no doubt. So what you're saying is to the fans, come out tomorrow when it's nice and warm outside. Be sure to hydrate, or bring a parka when you come this weekend, because it's going to be two very different things. And we kind of knew that was a possibility with March as opposed to May. So certainly will be fun to keep track of and see how these guys are able to change with the course. This is always one of the most fun weeks of the year. So we love it out here. We got all the big names coming through right now. Featured group at the 10th is Keimer, Stenson, and Scott. So some internationals not doing so good on the golf course, which is why I took this moment to call you guys. And it's fun out here. Obviously, we'll have live reports, of course, coming up a little later on Fox 30.
I love the fact that you're kind of like out on the course right now and have to be a little quiet in your talking and commentary. What are the Tiger crowds like? You might have hinted at it already, and I missed it, but is it usual crazy?
Yeah, no, it's big. It's really big. And the interesting thing I noticed this time, I feel like last year when he was here as one of those featured groups, they kind of put it behind a couple other bigger featured groups. His is the first featured group out. So there's 4 so-called featured groups in a row, and his is the first one. And you can tell, by the way, because as soon as his group moves on, so does the crowd. It's almost like the second, third, and fourth featured groups aren't even here, which is surprising because there's some really big names in some of these groups that are right after Tiger, but folks are just keeping track of Woods. That's what they do.
Yeah, nobody's ever turned the needle like Tiger Woods, man. I mean, it's just unbelievable to see. And it makes slower play behind him because they want to wait till people stop moving and walking. And it's not easy playing behind Tiger Woods. People get used to it now, but it's certainly not easy. It's just a different feel, different atmosphere. We'll keep an eye on Tiger. Tiger now gets in the red. He's 1 under, but 6 off the lead. Tommy Fleetwood in the lead. Thanks for checking in, Weber. Keep up the good work. We'll see you on TV at 6:50 on Fox 30. And then we have a Players Special tonight, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30, which will be actually golf/football because of all the news today. But have a good afternoon out at the Players Championship, man.
You got it. I'll eat an extra cookie and have an extra smoothie just for you guys.
Thank you very much. Well, I did have a smoothie today, too, courtesy of Austin Lane.
You're
but
welcome.
They do have smoothies in the media center in the dining. I didn't know if all the wind was coming from TPC Sawgrass or it's coming from here. Well, it's here right now. Listen, everybody. Right now, Josh Lambo could kick it from 75 yards if he was going toward the north end zone. I mean, we just get a gust or two, so hang with us. Appreciate your patience. You know what's funny, too, is I've listened back to the shows a little bit over the last couple of days.
Go ahead.
I like taking people inside my mind and in the business a little bit, all right? And I know they probably don't care, but I'm going to tell them anyway. And so I'll listen. Doesn't it sound loud in our ears, like when the wind picks up?
Yeah, big
it's
time.
like how can anybody hear?
It's almost like I can't even hear you when the wind's blowing.
Well, but it doesn't sound that way over the air so much.
Mm-hmm.
At least when I've gone back to listen to the podcast Coos puts up, it's not as bad. It's actually worse in our ear. Now, this one might be bad.
Yeah.
You get a big gust like this, but anyway. We're battling with it, and it's just a beautiful day, so we appreciate you bearing with us and having some patience with some of the breezy conditions at the Players and here at Jags headquarters. Before I get off golf, since we got on it, thanks to Stewart, and again, Tiger Woods, 1 under par, 6 back of Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood, the round of the day, shot a 65. Your pick to win it, Austin
Better
Lane.
believe it.
We've got reaction after the first round, first 18 holes from Tommy Fleetwood. Here he is.
I played really well. There was, like I say, that front 9. I hit a lot of solid shots, and I did like a couple of frustrating things where I hadn't really picked any shots at where I thought that I should have done. But then stayed patient, and the wind picked up, and the course got tough. There was some tough holes there, but I kind of drove it so well that I was always in a good position. And course feels different then. Like if you're in the fairway all the time, the course feels very, very different. And it's a massive key round here. And then I just started picking a few shots up, and then you get on a run like 7, 8, 9, and it. Feels great after that. Just one of them would feel like a great round, so 3 of them's,
That's Tommy Fleetwood. If he could keep playing like he did, well, he'd be setting records. It won't be that easy for Tommy Fleetwood the rest of the week. Just hear the wind. That's what happens in the afternoon. Well, he'll be in the afternoon tomorrow, so it's a lot more difficult to go out there and play in the afternoon. Scoring usually goes down. All right. Time to get back to ballin' and fallin'. You got a little Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which I think was okay. I don't think it was a big deal.
Okay. Well, this is I don't know which one is ballin' or fallin'. So we got 2 things. We go on a voicemail and Twitter. So what happens today is we aired the live news conference of Nick Foles at 1 o'clock on CBS 47 and on Fox 30 and on ESPN 690. And we had it on all our social streams as well. So you could find it. It's a big day in Jacksonville, right? Mm-hmm. Any problem with that?
No.
Well, some people do have a problem with that. Sandy Carter tweets me, and I think this will be the ballin' one.
Oh, no.
This is boring and not news. Channel 47 is CBS, not Shad Khan News. How long you want to keep this affiliate? This is ridiculous. She goes on. This is so boring. Who do you think is watching? It's women who want to see Young and the Restless. They will not be buying jerseys. Ridiculous. So I responded.
Oh, no.
I'm a Young and the Restless fan, too. This is unique. We get to watch every other day of the year, and we can find today's replay on demand, I think. I'm with you, but got to take care of the sports guys today. She responds, well, you enjoy watching, but I don't have access to on demand, and another quarterback is not news. Sorry, we do this every year. No offense to the sports team at 47, but this is so boring and not necessary.
Hey, relax,
Hold on. I'm coming in with the good one. Here's the last one. She says, damn, Lola was waking up from a coma. Today was necessary for the storyline. Now I am screwed for tomorrow. But I do enjoy your sports information.
No, are you kidding me? Wait, is that what you said to her?
No, she said that.
Hey, when isn't somebody waking up from a coma, cheating on their husband, hanging out with their sister? Like, it's the same stuff over and over again. But I get it, man. Like, I think back in the day, my grandma was into them too. And dude, like,
my mom watched all the time too, for a long time. Like every time I'd come home.
Yeah. So here's the real question: are you actually a fan of the Young and Restless?
No, I'm just messing around with her.
I thought I knew you.
I mean, there's a guy sitting next to me in the news conference, and he's like watching me tweet, and he's kind of laughing. He can't believe she's responding. Like, it's just so fun. But we get this stuff all the time, and we're actually fortunate. They were going to have the news conference at 11. If we had interrupted the Price is Right, ho ho ho, watch out.
Well, then I would.
You interrupt the Price is Right. We actually would have thought about just putting it on Fox 30. The Price is Right does really well.
Yeah.
And so interrupting the Price is Right is dangerous.
What was this lady's name again?
I don't know if it's like, it says Sandy Carter on Twitter,
okay,
so I don't know if
Sandy.
Or it says Carter Sandy, so I'm not sure which one's her first name. I'm assuming it's a woman.
Hey, Sandy.
Yeah, she said she was a woman.
Hey, Sandy, if you can work Twitter and you have a Twitter account, you can get on demand. I don't hear any excuses.
All right. So anyway, hey, I thought she was nice enough, but it was just funny, the whole conversation.
Nice,
and once she went to the coma card, I was like, whoa. I mean, this is a big day in Young and the Restless, I guess.
Sorry, Brent. I mean, I just like people trying to badmouth you. You know, I always have your
appreciate
back,
it. And so, anyway, we're just trying to give the viewer everything they can get on the Jags. So, you know, we're the official Jags station. We cover the Jags better than anybody in town. Just ask me. And new breaking news. Golden Tate to the Giants. They've replaced Odell Beckham Jr.
There it is, Giants fans. You can go to sleep at night a little easier now. Golden Tate coming in, take the spot.
And here, the roar you heard says, go Gators. 4 years, $37 million for Golden Tate, huh? Interesting. I wouldn't have minded him in Jacksonville.
Yeah, you were big up on him. Me, personally.
But I wasn't big on overpaying him.
Yeah. And do you think that's overpaying him?
It doesn't seem too bad, really, now that I think about it. But, by the way, P. Moncrief 918 says, the roar you heard was Ryan Moore slam dunking a hole-in-one at 17.
Dang.
So Ryan Moore, hole-in-one at 17. That's what just happened at the Players' Championship, TPC Sawgrass, and that's what Stuart Weber was talking about, the big roar. Maybe Tiger can get an eagle on 11, and we'll get another roar. We'll see. All right, I'm not done with this. So that was ballin', I think, or it might have been falling. So that's the Twitter feed.
Okay.
Well, I just got a message. I got a message that I heard through my email during the news conference. Coos, you have it?
Oh yeah, I have it.
All right, let's play it. This is what we got. This is the kind of voicemails I get here at the sports office. This came through right while we were showing the Nick Foles news
to be at their phones right now. All I could say is this TV station has a lot of nerve breaking into a show for our quarterback. Now, this is going to be on again at 6 o'clock and 11. And how many people do you think are sitting at their TVs in their offices watching this? And for all the questions, what is wrong with you people? I mean, I know this is a good thing, but for goodness sake, Channel 11 didn't do it. I think from now on I'm going to switch to them.
Oh, you people! Hey, Bren, I don't want, you know what? After hearing that and seeing the Twitter feeds, I'm not sure if I'm about this life anymore, man.
Yes,
I think I kind of want to.
stuff being on the field.
I think I kind of want out. Yeah, man. You got some crazy old ladies coming at you, man.
That's awesome. So that was, I think, didn't she say somewhere in there, I know it's a big story, but, or something like that? I thought that was funny. But anyway, that's what we got. I don't know. That's balling and falling, and somewhere there might be both falling or there might be both balling. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
But you go to falling now. And by the way, Tiger hit his second in the water at 11, so no eagle for him.
Ooh, that's falling as well.
Come on, Tiger.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got for fall?
I can't really follow that, man.
I know.
All right.
I told you it's going to be one of my all-timers. I thought
right.
it's just so fun. And now I love the radio because we get to play that stuff.
Yeah, no, that was classic. So she just literally called the station and left a voicemail. That's what it was. God. All right. Fallen.
Hey, one more thing. What's Channel 11? Don't say that. I'm not saying what you just said. Is it really a state like Channel 11? Like who watches on Channel 11? Like
Marcel said it.
Is that just regular cable, like not HD? Really?
Oh, she doesn't have HD? How you gonna watch soap operas without HD, woman? All right. Get it together.
That's the killer?
All right, go ahead.
I'm getting upset. I'm gonna go on a rant here pretty soon if you keep pushing me. All right. Fallen. Hey, Lamar Jackson, this past season you could say you made some pretty good decisions. You started 7 games, won 6 of them, led the Ravens to the playoffs. That's all peachy and everything. But Lamar, you got a lot going for you right now. Another solid year, you could be established as the face of the franchise. So maybe it's not a good idea to post a video on Instagram of you driving 105 miles per hour without wearing a seatbelt. What was the point?
How many violations can you break?
What was the point of you posting that video? Unless you got a flux capacitor in that thing and you have time traveling capabilities, nobody gives a crap. Step your game up. Get better. Be a leader. Don't do dumb stuff on Instagram.
That was dumb. So he's
my
speeding,
my
right?
comment was dumb, or him? I thought you said
no. That was way better than Game of Thrones.
Thank you. Feisty, Brent. Okay.
So he videos while he's driving.
Yes, without a seatbelt.
Without a seatbelt.
Going
at 105 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't you get put in jail for that? Isn't that reckless driving?
It's got to be. And number 2, I mean, 105 miles per hour. Listen, I don't know what kind of car he was driving, but I once had my Eagle Talon stick shift going 130. So I'm not impressed with that at all. So, I mean, if you're going to pump the gas a little bit. At least see what it's got. I mean, you're the starting quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens. One would assume you got like a Mercedes or something like that. So 105 is child's play. So if you're going to post the video, at least post the video. You know what I'm saying? But
so wait. So what's the fastest you've ever been in a car?
Like in my car, or just in a car in general?
In a car. Well, I mean, like not like if you did
like
some racing thing. I mean, I did a racing thing too at Daytona. Went like 165. That doesn't count.
Fastest I've probably. Ooh, Mom, turn off the radio quick. Fastest I've ever probably gone was like about 130 miles per hour.
Really? That you too, Marcel? 130?
Yeah. Down a country road. If a deer would have came out, it would have been game over.
Yeah, it's a scary couple minutes going that fast.
Well, I should say this.
A couple seconds.
That's what the that's what the dash said. I don't know if I was actually going 130 miles per hour, but on the car that's what it said. Eagle Talon.
I remember being in Florida during spring break one time, and I wasn't driving, but my buddy was driving, I think, and we were like at like 110, 115, something like that, and I was like, oh, I mean, you hit 100, and it's like, whoa. You know what's funny is if you hit like 90 going on the highway, like we were in Montana and Wyoming, and 90 felt like 60.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if it's just a straightaway highway, but especially if you're doing that on like a country road, that's dangerous. Don't do that, kids. Don't listen to Austin Lane here.
Whoa, easy.
Learn from your mistakes.
I had some friends that played in Germany, played football a little bit, and they, obviously they have the Autobahn over there, and they said it's one of the craziest things you're ever going to witness is going on the Autobahn.
I bet.
But I guess so for being, because obviously there's no speed limit, but there's like 0 accidents on there because everyone obviously respects the rules of the road, and no one's texting while driving. So.
Wow. Really?
Honestly. Well, I don't know, Brent. If you're going 150 miles per hour on the Autobahn, you do a text message?
I don't know. I don't know. Lamar Jackson's going 105 and he's shooting video.
That's a good point. I guess people are capable of anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Kuz, give us an update on the ACC. Florida State tied now?
Yeah, man, this is wild. Virginia Tech, FSU tied up 48-all. There's about 4 minutes left in the game. Virginia Tech's at the line right now to potentially go up by 1. I'll let you know if it went in. No, it did not.
No, it did not. That's a good play-by-play right there.
No, it did not.
Nope.
Just don't say big loose balls.
Yeah, but no, I'm avoiding that, although there has been a lot of turnovers.
We need to make T-shirts of that or something, Brent.
Somehow.
We have to capitalize on that somehow.
By the way, Tiger made bogey at 11 at the Players' Championship. Let's hear from Tom Coughlin and the regime about, Kuz, if you can dial this one up. What now? Now that they have Nick Foles, can they do anything to put anybody else around him from a playmaker? We've been screaming for it. Can they do anything? What will they do over the next couple of months, both free agency and draft? Dave Caldwell said they have about $12 million to spend, and how will they spend that over these next couple of weeks? And, of course, what will they do in the draft? Take a listen.
If we get our guys back healthy and can add a little bit here or there, I was happy and confident with our offensive line last year until it started to disappear. Obviously, we're in the process of trying to surround him with people at all positions who can contribute, and that certainly is one of them.
Well, it's to make sure we get everybody back healthy, so Nick doesn't have to do it on his own, and we don't want to repeat the same thing. So, going to continue to add pieces around him, and that might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be till the week before the season starts, but we're going to continue to upgrade our team.
Well, that's Dave Caldwell, Tom Coughlin talking about this football team and what's next. And, Golden Tate just gets signed by the New York Giants. There's one off the board. I think there are very few playmakers that would have got me excited left in free agency on the offensive side of the football. Yesterday, Tevin Coleman, I think, was one that would have said, okay, I see that. That could be fun. Golden Tate, although I'm not over the moon about the guy, I feel like he could be a nice piece. A lot of people say, well, he does kind of what Marquise Lee does, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I do feel like you don't know what Marquise Lee is going to do this year coming off the injury. So, I think what is tempering the excitement, even if you have a lot of it, of Nick Foles, is we've seen this play before, right? We've seen that Bortles didn't have a ton around him. Whether you think he's a good quarterback or not, he did. That's fact. At times, he did not have enough around him. Yes, they were top 10 in offense in 2017. Leonard Fournette, a big reason why. But go earlier in his career, whether it was offensive line and all the sacks they gave up, or this past year where they really had nothing reliable, running game, passing game, offensive line. They had the most drops in the NFL. They gave up 53 sacks. They couldn't run the football. It all fell apart. So it's like it tempers your excitement because, like, oh, wait, well, those are the same guys. They're coming back. Like, all these guys are coming back. What else have you done? And right now, they haven't done anything to get you excited at tight end, get you excited at wide receiver, or get you excited behind Leonard Fournette in the backfield. So I get it, Jags fans. I'm kind of with you right now. And they are hope. Right now, there's just hope. There's keep your fingers crossed and hope that Marquise Lee is healthy and returns to some form. D.D. Westbrook takes a step, DJ Chark takes a step, and Keelan Cole finds whatever he had 2 years ago and not last year.
Well, and let's also hope that the draft, when that comes around, that the Jaguars can be successful in it, especially rounds 1 through 3, because we need some playmakers.
Yes, we do. Here in Jacksonville, more to come from Jags headquarters on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 gets you close to the action.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and it's Action Sports Jax on the road on ESPN 690, live from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis.
With the Rams cheerleaders here in Atlanta, you guys gonna go to the aquarium or anything?
Live from the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
With John Franklin Myers, the former Stephen F. Austin Lumberjack, going from Orange 40 man to the Super Bowl, man. I'm proud of you.
Live from Daytona International Speedway at the Daytona 500.
This is ESPN 690.
Why do local women watch Action News Jax? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News Jax than any other station.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jax. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you.
The next generation of Galaxy has arrived at T-Mobile. The Samsung Galaxy S10e is here and loaded with features that'll make you popular wherever you go, like wireless power share. You can turn your phone into a wireless charger to power up other devices. No cables required. And right now at T-Mobile, the Samsung Galaxy S10e is included with unlimited for just $40 a line for 4 new lines. That's a savings of over $1,500 when you buy 4 phones. So you can get unlimited somewhere else. Or for $40 a line for 4 new lines at T-Mobile, you can get unlimited with a Samsung Galaxy S10e included. Call 1-800-T-Mobile or visit a store today.
$30 for essentials plus $10 for Galaxy S10e with autopay via 36 monthly bill credits for well-qualified buyers. Customers may notice lower speeds and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs per month. Video at 480p plus taxes and fees. Qualifying credit, finance agreement, and service required. Contact us before canceling service or remaining balance due. Galaxy S10e 0 down plus 2084 for 36 months. $749.99 before credits. 0% APR.
It's time for some straight talk. Picture this. Your favorite team is playing. You're streaming the game. 10 seconds left. Your team shoots. Oops, your data runs out.
Look, don't let that happen. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get 25 gigs of high-speed data, all on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Join Team Straight Talk and get unlimited talk and text plus 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month.
Straight Talk Wireless, everything for less, only at Walmart.
First 25 gigs at high speed, then 2G. See terms at straighttalk.com.
Gold, did you know that Gatorade Zero has all the same electrolytes but with zero sugar?
I did know that because I drank some Gatorade Zero after I ran 2 miles at the gym this morning.
2? Please, I ran 3.
Did I mention I also was on a 6 incline?
You didn't, but that's interesting because that's 2 less than I was on.
Were you also running backwards? Because I was.
No.
Gatorade Zero, all the electrolytes with zero sugar, so you can get more out of zero.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
What are you laughing at?
That one's going to go in the highlight reel.
What's that?
You getting a cramp and us trying to scramble to help you out a little bit.
I know, thanks. So do Altoids help cramps?
So spicy foods help cramps. I'm not really sure if that constitutes a spicy food, but hopefully it'll help.
That's
out.
like the worst when you just bend the leg in the wrong position.
Dude, you gotta stay
and get a
hydrated,
cramp.
man.
I know. Gotta stay. I'm not drinking enough water this week, and probably not putting enough sunscreen on this week. Hey, Kuz, what's going on?
What do you mean?
What did we just hear?
Oh, you guys can hear. Oh, okay. I'm recording that. Sorry.
Kuz, what the heck are you doing today?
We're not playing anything over air. You guys just heard it in your headphones.
Oh, thanks, Kuz. Sorry,
bad, I
people.
didn't realize that would
we just heard something. And we're like, I think we're off the air again.
Yeah, I thought we're off the air too.
My bad. I didn't realize I'd throw you off.
Hey, don't fault the effort of Kuz. He's trying to get something done. You just asked for a last-minute request.
I did ask
and
for
he's
a
trying to get it done. So this is really your fault.
Okay, man. Well, remember when you're cramping over here?
I know, but you were helping me with the
back
cramp.
In the studio, I don't know what more you guys want from me.
By the way, I still have the cramp too.
Should we get the trainers in here?
This is a good place to.
I can go ahead and call Justin quick, get him up here.
Cold tub?
Get a cold tub. We'll get some Pedialyte in you real fast. An IV
pool?
maybe. Yeah, get in the pool.
How bad is the cold tub? Like, how long does it take you to get used to the cold tub?
Oh, that's a great question. It depends, because usually, so like the cold tub that the Jaguars have in the facilities, usually you just go up to your waist. But like during training camp, there's like actually the big ice tubs.
By the way, up to your waist is enough.
Yeah, but like during training camp, they have like the giant tubs where you can sit outside. and those you have to go up to your neck. So those are obviously a little more sketchy. For me personally, I never had an issue with them just because I felt a lot better after I was done with it. So it was definitely worth the pain.
Yeah.
Something when you put your headphones in. But there was a dude by the name of Mike Lockley, and I don't really know what became of him. He was a free agent rookie. Not even sure when he went to college, but he's a middle linebacker. Fans might remember him because he actually got fined like 3 times in the preseason, like back-to-back games, and actually had to give more in fine money than he made on the team. But with Lockley, the crazy thing with him was the fact that we bet him, I'm not going to say the amount, but we bet him that he couldn't hold his breath under the water in the cold tub for a minute and a half. And sure enough, this kid went under the cold tub, head under, hold his breath for like a minute 45 seconds,
Wow.
and ended up getting the money. So props to Mike Lockley, man. I'm not sure what became that guy. He was, I'm sure he's doing some kind of fitness thing because he was a bigger guy.
I've tried the like sometimes at a resort or something like that they'll have like the really hot water go into the cold water or come out of the sauna and you go into the. I've done that before. I don't even know where I was at. I tried it, and it is freezing. And then I did the cryotherapy we did with Malik Jackson.
Yep.
We were doing a story, and so I tried it. That was cold, man.
Yeah, but
that took a little mental toughness from me.
Well, I'll tell you what sucks here too with the Jaguars, the fact so their cold tub they have a treadmill underneath it. So as you're standing in the cold tub, your legs are moving, and actually like, getting your body moving.
That helps.
Actually, well, it helps. It makes it worse though. It makes it colder because then, like there's blood flowing, but you can still feel it. So it actually, it actually makes the whole process worse. But obviously, it's a lot more healthy.
I would figure it would be better because it gets your mind off the actual just sitting there in the cold.
No, for whatever reason, like if your body goes numb and you stay still, it's a lot better than like moving your body the whole time. You can feel it more.
All right, a couple updates from a news and notes segment. Virginia Tech has taken the lead over Florida State just 11 seconds to go. They lead by 3, 56-53. Again, I honestly, unless Florida State were to go on a run, I'm not really sure. A loss here, a win here, I don't know if there's much to gain. Again, now if they were to win this one and then beat Virginia and then maybe beat North Carolina or Duke, then you jump up to a 3 seed, potentially a 2 seed. Probably, I think there was just a window of a 3 or 4 seed, and that was about it. So I don't think this is major problematic. It's probably more helpful for Virginia Tech to get this win and a big win. Again, all wins matter, but Florida State has to make something happen here. They've got 11 seconds to do it, down by 3, so we'll keep you posted on the outcome of that one.
Also got to mention the Cornhuskers as well. A little upset going on with Maryland right now.
They are. It's 51-39. And by the way, did you see the video? You see the
did,
coach?
The coach falling.
That could have been falling.
Yeah, so I thought about making it, but obviously it's hard to explain to the fans.
Yeah, you almost got to see it.
But I mean, in my opinion, there's 2 types of fallers. There's the fallers that they fall and they kind of brush it off like nothing happened. They try to get up as fast as possible. And then there's the fallers who just accept it and kind of roll over a little bit and just kind of like Shaquille O'Neal would do back in the day when he played basketball. You just kind of fall there and lay there. Well, the coach of Nebraska did the latter because he went down hard and just kind of laid there. Chance, go check it out. It's everywhere. It's a viral video.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And he did. He kind of he did the safe side and everything.
Yeah.
That was a digger, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
but hey, at the end of the day, I mean, as long as you win, who cares, right? If you would have lost and did that, that would have been pretty bad. But they won. He celebrated. It is what it is.
By the way, Phil Mickelson making a little bit of news too with the whole scandal, the whole college admission scandal.
Yeah.
I'm just catching up on this. It says he confirmed Thursday that he and his wife Amy hired William Singer and his for-profit college tutoring company to prepare their children for the college admission and selection process. He says we, along with thousands of other families, hired he and his company to help guide us through the college application process. We're just last few days.
What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Because we haven't really got your opinion about it, bro.
Yeah, we brought it up the other day.
A little bit, but I mean, from my standpoint,
you'll reset the story a little bit. I mean, it's just you're basically paying, and I haven't done a deep dive into the story, but when you brought it up, and it's been news in the last couple of days, basically wealthy people, for the most part, paying admissions offices to get their kids into the school. I mean, at the end, they were labeled athlete so they could have a slide by, because some athletes, that's what happens. You get some. Are you all right over there?
Yeah, FSU just hit the shot, and it is going into overtime. FSU hit a massive shot. I'm sorry. I was trying not to, but I was like, oh, man, that was huge. Sorry, that was time.
Coos, you cannot contain your excitement.
Coos just doing whatever he wants.
Dude, that was.
You
Sorry,
cannot contain your
I
excitement.
derailed the whole conversation, but that was a beautiful shot from 3. Oh man.
So that's all right. Listen, we're just rolling with it. So Florida State hit the shot.
Yeah, Florida State hit the
Let's tie it
inbound
up.
shot. There was about 3 seconds left, so it ended up being a half-court heave for Virginia Tech, and it's going into overtime.
Yeah, they got a good shot off in the corner. We actually have a TV here.
Oh, there you go.
We can see in the clubs.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really tell who it was, but at the same time, they're going overtime. So thanks for the update, Coos.
Yeah,
that was breaking information without, like, breaking
Totally
music
appropriate.
intro.
Appreciate it. Totally appropriate.
Now I kind of know how the young and the restless people feel. But anyway, it was basically paid to get into a college, right? And I said this to you the other day, though. I kind of felt like, is that really shocking? Like, am I cynical to think like that happened and probably has happened for a long time?
So I guess, and I should rephrase it better. For my opinion, if you had the money, would you do the same thing or not? I guess that's what I was trying to get your opinion on.
I mean, I'd like to say no. I'm not so linked to a college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's part of it. Like I understand there are a lot of people around here. All right, and I think it's a fair question you just asked. You got to ask yourself seriously around here. It is hard to get into Florida, but there are a lot of kids in this area that grow up and they want to go to Florida. And I'm telling you, when that thing comes out a couple weeks ago and you either got in or didn't get in, that is my wife taught at Nice High School. Yeah. That is a huge day at that school. That is a huge day in their lives. And we've talked about it and discussed it. I mean, you can have like a 4.25 and 1,300 on your SATs and you don't get in to Florida. So I think you have to ask yourself that. Like, hey, if you could pay an extra $2,000 to get into, or whatever it might be, I don't know what the dollars are. I don't know how significant the money is.
But I feel like if you have that much money, it doesn't really make a dent anyways, right?
Yeah. Probably not. So I think I'd like to say I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really that tied into a school, and I don't feel like you have to go to Stanford to be successful. I went to Ashland University, and look at me now.
Shining, man. You're shining. Ashland University, stand up.
You went to Murray State, and
Yes,
look at you now.
Look at me now. Me and John Morant doing big things.
I mean, look. Marcel went to UNF. Look at him now.
Look at him now.
Swoop.
I wish we could describe the dance that he was doing, but we can't.
So, I mean, I just don't believe that you have to go to those kind of places to be successful or to be satisfied or to do whatever. So I'm a bad person to ask that question to. I genuinely don't think I would. But again, I understand how it happens, and I kind of assumed that it did happen. I didn't know it just happened there, but maybe some of the private schools, like, that people go to or a prep school or something like that. I just figured, hey, if Dad has a ton of money, he might end up going there. I mean, it wasn't a huge, shocking story to me, I guess is my point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to stand on a soapbox here and give lessons on parenting because I only have, one, and thankfully I haven't broke him yet. But, I think that when you acquire that much money, if you're an actor, you're a professional athlete like that, like, listen, I'm sure you're not home a lot. I'm sure you're always on the road. You're always doing business and whatnot, but I feel like I feel like 90% of being a parent is just being there for your son. And if they need help with homework, if they need help with school, then you get them the tutors and then you get them the things that they need. But I feel like it's taking the easy way out as a parent, to pay the school money. Like, what kind of life lessons are you teaching your kid? Like, hey, if you have enough money, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and listen, this is it's not a rant, it's not a soapbox speech, it's just where I'm coming from. I mean, if I had millions of dollars, would I probably do that? I don't think so, but it's hard for me to say because I don't have millions and millions of dollars. But I think from that perspective, if you're just in your child's life, I think you're going to be okay.
Wow, we went deep here.
I know.
We went deep at 5 o'clock.
Coos, any college basketball updates to lighten the mood quick again?
Currently 58-58.
Thank you. We'll keep everybody updated. Coos will certainly do that. Coos is watching. That's for sure, and keeping us updated. He's the only one that's got a TV in that office.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, stay in your lane. We'll give away some MMA tickets to your fight Saturday night. Let's do that when we come back, and we get back to football, too. It's a big day in Jacksonville, and I'll update you on the Players' Championship. How's Tiger doing? How does Florida State finish? Oh, we got a lot going on here on a Thursday, and a beautiful one downtown at the Bank. Thanks for sticking with us on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and if you're looking for something to do for dinner tonight, I've got an idea. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years, fresh ingredients every day. That's what Renna's Pizza was built on, and that's what Renna's Pizza delivers. A menu to satisfy the entire family tonight. Fantastic pizza, fresh salad, and Italian favorites like lasagna. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Be a part of the family and get dinner tonight at Renna's Pizza. All the big shots and the big interviews. It's the place to be this week. And Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 is live at the Players, daily from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Brought to you by the law offices of John Phillips.
The 2019 Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio is here, and it's better than ever. It's your chance to meet the personalities on the new ESPN 690. Sit in the front row and ask your questions to athletes in town, sports analysts, and experts. You'll be able to see them in person. It's going to be the best year yet. So listen to ESPN 690 for your chance to win your way in throughout the year. It's the Harrell and Harrell Performance Studio, brought to you by Harrell and Harrell.
Run with a John Deere from AgPro, and you'll get nothing but value from our top-of-the-line 3 Series compact utility tractors. They're designed for simplicity, comfort, and great performance. Right now, you can get a 3025E for just $139 per month. Shop online at agproco.com and get equipped for anything. Offer ends 4/30/19. Some restrictions apply. 20% down payment required. See dealer for complete details.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and if you've received a letter from the IRS and you cannot pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank accounts and garnish your wages. If this is you, make sure you contact J. David Tax Law, an award-winning local firm right here in Jacksonville. Recently voted the best tax attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly readers, and also selected as an ultimate tax attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only trust an experienced and award-winning tax firm to represent you. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. Peace of mind only a click or phone call away, online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. That number again, 904-507-4777, or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
It's March. There's basketball. And now there's ESPN 690, The Bracket. Starting Sunday night, go to ESPN690.com. Click on the bracket logo and fill it out. Play against Bren and Austin from Action Sports Jacks. The winner gets a smoker, gift card, and more. Play The Bracket with ESPN 690.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick and Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with our friend Brent Martineau on ESPN 690.
Coos is going nuts. The play-by-play. Why didn't we record that? In the commercial, he's giving us the play-by-play. And what a shot! What a shot!
Oh,
it was a great
fade
shot!
away, like it was perfectly defended. Fade away, bank, it went in.
My voice is gone.
It was good.
Sorry.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I might have just, yeah. I don't know, my voice was gone.
Wait, you did? You could do like Kirchen the other day?
Well, yeah, but in case you noticed, I was warming up for Kirchen. I just jumped right into Kuz's voice.
So anyway, Florida State, they have 1.5 seconds to hold off Virginia Tech. Well, what a win this will be for Florida State in overtime. They hit a tying shot to send it to overtime, and now just hit another one that looks to be the game winner, but wait. Kuz, you give us a play-by-play. Go.
Oh, you're going to make me do that?
Seriously, come on.
All right, well, they haven't they haven't inbounded the ball yet. They're just all standing around right now.
Set the scene, man.
All
set the scene.
Virginia Tech's inbounding the ball. The ref seems to be taking his time right over here with just holding the ball, and they're all just kind of staring at each other, waiting for something to happen here. We're still waiting.
How's the crowd? Is it electric, or is it just calm?
I don't have the volume on because I can't have it on because I'm on air, so I'm not.
Well, are
positive.
they standing up? Are they sitting down? What?
Here we go.
Most of the Virginia.
Oh, another timeout.
Yep, timeout again. That seems to happen a lot.
God.
Kuz,
That seems to happen a lot.
Right
all right, we'll get you back to Kuz's play-by-play action.
Brent, I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't have a TV next week in our office.
Well, here's the deal. We are going. By the way, did you just hear that bracket challenge we're doing on ESPN 690?
That was pretty cool.
So make sure you tune into that really Monday morning. And you can jump in and win a great prize pack. But we'll actually be out at the NCAA tournament on Thursday because it's in Jacksonville. And I think we're going to be at Intuition Ale on Friday.
No way.
Yeah, I think so. So come on out to Intuition Ale. I think that's the plan next Friday, and we can watch the games there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we don't need the TV, I guess.
No, definitely not. I mean, if we're going to be at a bar the whole time, that's cool. I'm in for that.
All right. So the deal is it's overtime. Florida State just took the lead on a great shot, and now they have to hold off Virginia Tech 94 feet away from the basket. Kuz, this is where you pick it up.
All right, we're still waiting for them to inbound the ball.
Brent, can I just take over here?
No. Let Kuz do it.
No, we're waiting for them to inbound the ball. Coach throwing out a few more suggestions to the player right here. It looks like, all right, we got the movement. And we're waiting for the inbound. About half court, the heave, and it missed.
You know what? I did not want Florida State to lose. I really didn't. But in that one moment, I kind of wanted the shot to go in.
I'm just watching the reactions right now. I'm sorry, Brent.
You didn't want to listen to Kuz?
No, I didn't. No, I was Kuz, keep setting the scene here. What's
it's
going
over,
on right
man.
Now?
It's over.
Yeah, but there's dejection on the face of Virginia Tech players. There's a guy on his knees in the middle of the court who just missed a shot. A hard-fought game in overtime. The Florida State Seminoles take it, and dejection all over the faces of the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Why did Florida State win? Because they got some big loose balls.
I also just got some more.
Brent Martin and Austin Lane, we're out of here. Have a good night.
Oh, I also actually just got some more breaking news while you guys were talking about that. The boss said that we're actually throwing in a pair of Rolling Stone tickets on top of what you can already win for the bracket challenge. So the pot just got thick.
Seriously, that's like a $1,000 value with those Rolling Stone tickets, man. Those aren't cheap.
So you get a smoker gift card and the tickets to Rolling Stones.
All right, that's awesome. Good stuff. That's a great prize pack. So all you have to do is go to ESPN690.com. Check it out. Monday morning is when that will go active. Not late Sunday night, but Monday morning. So why not? You can't win if you don't play. Check out ESPN690.com. And speaking of, you can win tickets to Daly's Place as well by going to the contest page at ESPN690.com. And August 18th show is, well, not necessarily around the corner, but it is happening, and we are giving tickets away. I'm trying to figure out the exact thoughts of that one. I have to go back through my email. What's the concert?
It is Bush
Live.
That one, yep. Bush Live and Our Lady Peace.
Yeah,
who,
there it is.
Was some of the theme music for my middle school prom.
That's right. We remember that now.
Yep.
So ESPN690.com contest page, and you can win tickets to Daly's Place August 18th for
Our Lady Peace, Bush, and Live.
There you go.
Somewhere out there, somewhere out there.
There you go. We're giving away everything.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it right now.
What do you guys want from us?
Actually, we're going to give away more right
here.
All
right, let's go. I'm in a generous mood.
Austin's fighting on Saturday night, Morocco Shrine. 4 tickets to the fight at Morocco Shrine Saturday night. What's your favorite number? Don't say like 504.
Let's go with lucky number. You know, since it's Foles and everything, let's go 7 again.
7 again.
7 again.
It's Foles week here in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Caller number 7. 904-362-9901. 904-362-9901. Go support Austin Lane Saturday night. Back in the cage, fighting MMA. Morocco Shrine. in Jacksonville. Place is going to be rocking.
It's going to be rocking. There's also green beer there, too, as well for St. Patty's Day. So even if you don't want to watch me fight, come for the green beer.
Absolutely.
That's all I can tell you. That's all I got for you. Sorry.
That's coming up. Hey, let's get back to the Jags talk. We'll get to stay in their lane in just a moment, but make sure you give Kuz a call if you want some of those tickets, 904-362-9901, as we give away everything here on ESPN 690 in this segment. Some of the Jags conversation is the playbook. We talked a lot about this yesterday, right? With the RPOs and getting the ball out in 2.5 seconds and the relationship between John DeFilippo and also Nick Foles. All of that. We set the table for all of that. And I just want to set the table so now you can hear from the guys that are making the decisions. So let's check in with the Jaguars brass on what this playbook might look like going forward for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's just, I think the playbook has all kinds of situational opportunities, some of which you get to, some of which you don't. But obviously with Nick, you're going to institute some thoughts, some thinking as we do our research, study around the league, see what's been effective. Those things have an opportunity to appear.
Well, it's interesting. I think, my biggest thing I've been thinking about is just really the chemistry of the team. I think that, we have talent. I think that's, people know that. I think we've got to, stay healthy. And then, the chemistry of the team. I think for us as coaches, we're going to see things from a schematic standpoint, just because of what people do when you bring another quarterback in, whether it's the next quarterback, this quarterback, different quarterback. Everyone's a little bit different in what they do. What you're looking for is just obviously to up the results. You want more points on the board. You want to be able to score more. You want to be able to, take the game-winning drive when those 2-minute drives come along, which is often in the NFL. So I think when you see those things, you'll see some things that probably subtle changes, but what we want to see is the results.
Well, absolutely. Everybody wants to see the results. Right here, we are at TIAA Bank Field. Right behind us, the sign, "Welcome to Duval and Family." And this offense, where does it go? That's the big question, right? Where does Nick Foles take this offense? Where does John DeFilippo take this offense? And I think you're going to see styles kind of mix when it comes to the Jags. That's the indication we're getting the last 3 weeks. Tom Coughlin said revitalization a couple of weeks ago, and we had that interview right here on ESPN 690 at the NFL Combine. Doug Marrone talked about going through the playbook and meshing the playbook together with DeFilippo and what Marrone does in terms of running the football. And now you get Nick Foles. And the part I like about this is obviously the two guys know each other very well, but now Foles has been around for 7 years. Foles can almost go into that playbook and whatever they come up with in that thick playbook and say, we do this well, we do this well, we do that well, we want to do this, we like this explosive play, all that stuff. But he can come in and say, you know what, I feel comfortable doing that. I feel comfortable doing this. Now, every quarterback says it and does it, but I in here with familiarity with one of the guys probably helps him eliminate some things and go to things quicker than most quarterbacks would do. And again, this is where the benefit comes of not getting a young quarterback, because you really have to spend the first year learning what that guy likes. I'm not just talking on the practice field. I'm talking about right out here on this field. So you don't have to do that with Nick Foles. There are a lot of benefits to going to an 8th-year guy, 30-year-old quarterback who's done it and at times done it very well, and working with him on the offense.
And we're talking about a guy who's done it well for a longer period of time. Then we're talking about the offense, what kind of offense they're going to bring into the whole scheme thing. And obviously, it's not just going to be a power running team like they were in the past. I mean, if you're talking about a quarterback, you're talking about the general of the offense. You're talking about a guy who's accustomed to things in Nick Foles. Imagine, like, Brent, when I was in college, I had a Cadillac. When I got drafted by the Jaguars, I bought a new Cadillac, and I have a Cadillac right now. I'm accustomed to Cadillacs. If I drive my wife's Hyundai Sonata, it's a little different. It's not pretty sometimes. Same thing with Foles. Foles is accustomed to the RPO, okay? So I don't see the Jaguars just leaning from that now. I mean, they understand that they don't have all the weapons in place to probably run the RPO successfully yet. That's where the draft's going to come in, maybe a little free agency. But to be successful, history has shown that Foles can run the RPO well. Not to say that he can't run the power run game well, but I think from a perspective of where we've seen he's had success before is the RPO. That's what the Jaguars are going to tend to lean on.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see it. I think it's going to be an offense that gets down the field a little bit more. He makes decisions quick. I think we're going to, I've said this a little bit yesterday, I think there's going to be a fun offense in Jacksonville. I think it's going to be fun. again, I question the amount of playmakers. Don't get me wrong. I question whether they can pull it off the way they do in L.A., the way they've done it in Kansas City, the way they do it in Philadelphia. I think that's fair to question it. I don't know what these pieces and how they fit, but I think the ideas are going to be fun, and I really don't remember ever saying that about this offense. Jags' offense was good 2 years ago, but I don't know where fun actually came into the conversation.
The one thing I'm going to say, though, with these RPO offenses, like you compare them to the Chiefs, obviously the Rams, the things that those teams had in common, though, is they kind of had porous defenses throughout the regular season. Now, granted, when the playoffs came around, they stepped it up a little bit, but for the most part, the whole season, the trend was that they were porous and they gave up a lot of points, gave up a lot of yards. The Jaguars don't have that. So while it's exciting to talk about, yes, let's run the RPO, let's score a lot of points, that's great. But at the end of the day, say we're up, say the Jaguars are up by 10 points going into the fourth quarter, then you want to have that power running game to rely on a little bit too, because your defense is going to win you that ball game. So while it is exciting and you should be excited for a new offense coming in, you don't want to see the Jaguars abandon that power run game because they're going to need it as well, in my opinion.
Well, of course they're going to need it.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to the LeGarrette Blount stuff and everything else. And so it's going to be fascinating to see. I want to do something real quick before we head to a break. I'm going to check. What would you say the Jaguars need to score this year? They averaged like 15 points a game last year, 15.9 or something like that.
Yeah.
What do they have to do to win more games?
From a points per game standpoint?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 27. Like an average. It would be, if you're taking like the average of what the team scored.
You think that much? If they scored 22, which is another touchdown, they beat Tennessee, they lose to Kansas City, they lose to Dallas, they beat Houston, so that's 2 more wins. They lose to Philly. They beat Pittsburgh, so that's 3 more wins. They beat Washington, and they beat Houston. 5 more wins if they had scored 22 points in those games. Wow. Stay in your lane next on ESPN 690.
This is Golic and Wingo.
James Dolan, the owner, who is clearly the worst owner in professional sports at this point, I don't think it's even debatable, was leaving Madison Square Garden. He had this little interaction with a fan. James Dolan basically saying good luck watching them on TV. This is a joke.
6-26 at home. James Dolan should be walking around shaking the hand of every person that's still spending money.
Thank you for still being here. He's the worst. He's the worst owner in sports.
Golic and Wingo. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
The 4th annual Touch a Truck event is coming to Jacksonville March 30th at the Regency Square Mall parking lot. We are offering First Coast families the chance and opportunity to climb all over trucks and vehicles that are normally off limits. Guests are asked to bring non-perishable items to be donated to Feeding Northeast Florida. You can find more information, visit ESPN690.com or find us on social media. Just search ESPN 690.
Why do local women watch Action News, Jax? Because the unexpected can mess up their day. They like to know about the rain, the recalls, and school changes because their families are depending on them. They need more than just crime stories. They want to be in the know with real investigations that truly impact them, not something they can just Google. Is that selfish? We don't think so. Their time is valuable. In fact, more women are now watching Action News, Jax than any other station.
Whether you're buying a new or a pre-owned vehicle, your experience should never be anything less than exceptional. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jax. And if you're considering a new or pre-owned vehicle, I encourage you to go see my friends at the new Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. I'm so impressed with how they treat their customers. They're good people. No one wants to be haggled or pressured at a car dealership. And my friends at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville understand that. And they emphasize a no-risk, no-pressure approach. Their team will get you into the right car at the right price. And if for any reason you are not completely satisfied with your new or pre-owned vehicle, you can bring it back to Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville within the first 7 days for your money back. Take it from me. We drive a Hyundai in our family, and I encourage you to visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com to schedule a test drive. And you, too, will be impressed at how they treat the customer. Exceptional service at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. When you get to the Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville showroom, make sure you tell them Brent Martineau sent you. If trouble finds you, you want a board-certified expert in civil trial to help. Call the law offices of John Phillips at 904-444-4444. John will be by your side as an advocate and as a friend. When things go wrong, you need help to make it right. So give John a call. Personal injury, family, and criminal law. The number is 904-444-4444 or visit floridajustice.com.
If Dell Demps had moved, Anthony Davis is general manager for the New Orleans Pelicans, he would have been fired. You know, you had teams in smaller markets on the phone calling him, imploring him not to capitulate to the demands.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
You watch Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Now Action Sports Jax is on your radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Brent, we have a winner in the ticket giveaway.
Yeah.
Right? Ben Beto, congratulations. The proud recipients of 4 Combat Night tickets. And also, hey, who knows, maybe after the fight I'll buy you a beer as well if you come introduce yourself.
How about that?
There you go.
I didn't know that came with the tickets, but very good.
I'm feeling generous.
All right, let's go. I can't wait for the W on Saturday night. Awesome. Hey, by the way, Ryan Moore at a hole-in-one on the 17th hole. How cool is that? I'll show you that on TV later tonight on Fox 30 and CBS 47. We'll have specials later tonight at 11:15. Our specials continue all week long from the players, but also we'll obviously be talking a lot of football with everything that happened here at TIAA Bank Field for the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Tiger Woods 2 under par, so there we go. Not bad. I mean, he's been up and down a little bit, a little slow going. The afternoon rounds are tougher scoring, but 2 under par. Not bad at all for Tiger Woods as he kind of you just want to get in there and be in the mix in round number 1, round number 2. Remember last year on the weekend, Tiger really lit it up. It was a lot of fun, and that was after he barely made the cut. So if Tiger can bring this one home on the back 9 right now, he could find himself right in the mix heading into round number 2 and then hopefully the weekend as well. There's nothing like it when Tiger Woods is in the mix at the Players' Championship. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane here. Marcel Robinson hanging out as well. A big shout out to our guys, our whole department, our whole team. Kuz back in the ESPN 690 studios doing a great job. There's a lot of stuff happening, and we don't have a cast of thousands, but we're trying to pretend like we do. Stuart Weber's out at the Players' Championship. Our players coverage all week long brought to you by the law offices of John Phillips. And Marcel Robinson's been working his butt off. We've had TV hits at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and we got 6:50 and 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock and 11:15. So it's a busy day, but he's doing a great job over there. And he's got Astro World in mind tonight.
Astro World.
Yeah, he's getting out early. He's going to Travis Scott tonight.
Seems excited.
How packed will Travis Scott be?
Oh, it's going to be sold out, I would assume, right? No? Big head trick. I don't know.
75 what, percent? Full?
Interesting.
Like, how big is Travis Scott right now? Kuz, you're going.
Yeah, he's pretty big, man.
Here's a question.
He played the Super Bowl. That makes you big.
He did play the Super Bowl. Not his best performance. Anyways, if Cardi B came to Jacksonville, would she sell it out? Yeah, I mean, I think from a show standpoint, I think Cardi B is probably the top right now.
Showstopper.
Are you a big Cardi B fan, Brent? You're not making some money moves. He's not making money moves.
Fan? Let's use that loosely.
Admire from a distance.
Yeah, you'll be a showstopper on Saturday night. Fight night coming up for Austin Lane. All right, let's go. Stay in your lane right now, and then we'll put a bow on our Jags coverage. We'll update the players one more time. We already just told you, Kuz with fantastic play-by-play. Florida State won in the ACC game. They will play Virginia tomorrow, and Florida also won. They beat Arkansas today, 66-50. I think that punched your ticket to the dance. We have a lot happening, but we never miss. Stay in your lane.
Cruise Control going out to the Black Mamba, a.k.a. Kobe Bryant. In a sports interview with ESPN, center from the Portland Trailblazers, Yusuf Nurkic, tells a story how one time while Kobe was at the foul line, Nurkic said something to Kobe about a bad call, and Kobe responded by calling Nurkic an expletive. but it wasn't in English. It was in his native tongue of Bosnian. So Kobe Bryant literally took it upon himself to learn a new language just in case the player of that language talked trash to him. That, my friends, is the definition of a stone cold killer. Props to Kobe Bryant.
Very good.
Props to the Black Mamba.
Chauffeur Boz would like that. He listens to the show.
Okay. Sorry, all right, and we're back. Sorry, all right. So, yeah, pump the brakes.
We never left.
I should pump the brakes right now a little bit. I kind of got thrown off a little bit. Pump the brakes. Michael Silver, an NFL analyst from the NFL Network, had some interesting words to say about Baker Mayfield on a show called Free Agent Frenzy. Coos, hit me with it.
I would argue that the quarterback needs to grow up and that somebody in that organization needs to tell him what it's like to be a professional, so I'll just put that out there.
You talking about Baker?
Yeah.
Well, let me put this out there, Michael Silver. What the hell are you talking about? Are you resorting to the two instances when Baker Mayfield stared down his ex-football coach Hugh Jackson, who was on the Cincinnati Bengals as a defensive assistant of the division, a rival, to mind you? I love the way he was acting right there. I don't have any problem with Baker Mayfield and his antics, as you would call them. What other grounds do you have to say that Baker Mayfield needs to mature, that he needs to get with the program? I saw a rookie quarterback who came in, earned his teammates' respect, won football games in a city that didn't win a single game the past season, and is behind all the hype, is behind all the progress going forward. Michael Silver, man, you better pump your brakes a little. Leave Baker alone.
Huh. Wow, you're really in Baker's corner.
Well, I don't like when guys call NFL players for reasons that he has no grounds to say he's immature, he's not professional. I mean, listen, if you're going to call somebody immature and professional, then back it up. He didn't say anything.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
That's true.
So back it up, Brent.
I don't know. I think it's still a mixed bag on Baker Mayfield. I'm not completely sure how. It's just 1 year.
No.
And I'm not. But now, what I think he's probably referencing it in the discussion is now OBJ and Landry and just the personalities on that team. If that guy isn't that leader, right? If he's not mature enough to handle that, you've got a lot of immaturity potentially around you that you have to be careful of. So I don't know Baker right now.
I'm just saying, from what you've seen on the field from the Cleveland Browns this past season, now take the college player out of it. We're talking the NFL right now. From what you've seen from Baker Mayfield, has he done anything to warrant being called immature or unprofessional?
Yeah.
I mean, staring down Hugh Jackson, to me, that's not a big deal.
I don't know. I kind of put it in. I have a hard time answering that question because if Baker Mayfield's on my team, right, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. But I look at it like, dude, you're a rookie quarterback, man. I mean, it's almost like I don't know what went on with Hugh and him, but I kind of liken it to the Blake stuff with Barstool. It's like quarterbacks don't do that. When was the last time a quarterback did that?
When's the last time a head coach went from being a head coach to a defensive assistant, quote unquote, on an in-division rival?
Well, okay, it might be if it didn't happen during the season, it could happen the next year.
Well,
I'm
saying it's not like Baker was going to every single NFL coach that he beat and stared him down. It was directed at Hugh Jackson because Hugh Jackson literally, right after he got fired, went to the Cincinnati Bengals, who they played a couple weeks later. I mean, I would have been upset too.
He got fired. He can go wherever the heck he wants.
But it was his fault he got fired, number one. But do you mean to tell me that Hugh Jackson went to Cincinnati and wasn't given information about Baker, wasn't getting information about the offense? I guarantee he did. That's why he was brought to Cincinnati in the first place.
Yeah, again, I don't have a major problem with it. I kind of like that stuff in sports sometimes. Yeah. I really don't. But I could see how somebody would take offense to it is my point. I could see how somebody would be like, hey, listen, so where does it fall under? Respect your opponent, respect your elders, respect it. Again, I just don't. Have you ever seen another quarterback do that? Is that a sign of immaturity?
I mean, I saw Johnny Football give the bird to the Eagles in preseason one time.
Okay, so now you want to compare Baker to Johnny?
No, but I'm saying
that's a bad comp.
Well, no, I'm saying, but I've seen that. But that's what I'm saying. That's a bad case. Staring down a coach to me isn't that much.
But it's like Aaron Rodgers doing the discount,
the belt,
double check. It's like him doing that to the coach. Like if Mike McCarthy's on the other sideline this year for somebody and him doing that at him, would that be acceptable?
Then don't let him do that. If you're that worried about Baker Mayfield staring down your coach twice in one season, then don't let him win.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to be a defensive assistant. Well, guess what? Baker Mayfield tore you apart twice.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
So
I don't have
you
a
deserve
major
to get stared
problem
at.
with it. But I still think the jury's out if he's not mature or is mature and how much of a professional he is. I think we'll find out soon enough, especially with this team now. Hey, we'll put a bow on the show. Update you at the Players' Championship. Tiger just bogeyed again. Next on ESPN 690.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Hall of Famer Tony Dungy. Rooney Rule in place. A lot of people say it's not working. What's going on with this, and what could be the remedy for this?
Ron Rivera, minority defensive coach, has been to a Super Bowl. Mike Tomlin, minority defensive coach, has won a Super Bowl. Anthony Lynn, minority running back coach. So that just kind of echoes my point. It doesn't have to be quarterback coach.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. Over the years, we've seen more and more window companies come and go. Some sell the same window everyone else does. Some sell a window made up north. Some even change their name to evade responsibility. But none are the factory. No one else but New South has made an investment like we have in our 5+ acre Tampa factory. We are the Florida company who will make and install your windows and guarantee them for life. From our factory to your home. Now that's Factory Direct.
Buy more, save more. Volume discount up to 30%. Visit newsouthwindow.com.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers you wholesale prices with premium service. And most important, TireOutlet.com has always had a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, check out TireOutlet.com today.
SportsCenter updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And the latest breaking news in sports around the clock. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. This is ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
All right, how about this? An albatross and an ace during round one of the Players' Championship. 5th albatross in tournament history. 2nd at number 11. Harris English dropped it in on the par 5, 539 yard 11th hole.
Got all those albatrosses.
You got to do it. Harris English, 3-iron from 236 yards. Boom. And Ryan Moore, hole-in-one on the 17th hole. Par 3, of course, playing 121 today, pin up front. 9th hole-in-one at number 17 in tournament history. And now they've had 3 in the last 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. I think we had 2016, Wilcox hit it, Sergio in 2017, and Ryan Moore does it here in 2019. So, yeah, that's it, 16, 17, and 19. They only have 9 in tournament history, going all the way back to 82, and 3 of them have happened in the last 4 years.
Speaking of Sergio, how is he doing?
I think he was 3 under.
About him. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Sergio was 3 under. Tiger dropped back to 1 under par. Just to give you an update on Tiger, he's going to 15, 16, 17, and 18, so it'll be an interesting stretch to see. But look at Tiger's round. In the 10th hole, he birdied. The 11th hole, he bogeyed. That's the par 5 that Harris English made a 2 on, by the way. Tiger hit it in the water in his second shot. Par 3, birdie. I'm sorry, 12th hole, par 4, birdie. 13th hole, par 3, birdie. Gets to 2 under. 14th hole, bogey. He hates the 14th hole at TPC Sawgrass. Absolutely can't stand it. He will never. I can't wait someday. I want to interview Tiger when he's like 70.
Yeah.
And I want to ask him about the 14th hole. There's no way he'll admit how much he hates it right now. But when he's 70 years old, I'm going to interview Tiger Woods, and I'm going to ask him how much he hates the 14th hole at TPC Sawgrass. Go back and look at his record on that hole. It is awful. And he was way to the right again. He has been all over the place on the 14th hole at the Players' Championship. But anyway, he's 1 under par, 6 off the lead, playing in the afternoon round. He's got a little work to do, but he's still got a par 5 out there. He's got the 17th with an easy pin location today. We'll see if he can bring it home and maybe get to 2 under, 3 under, something like that would be good. If he goes backwards now, then tomorrow we're going to watch him on the cut line
Well, Tiger, just be careful at number 16. Be sure to show your pass or whatever, because I try to do that and they won't let me through. So hopefully he has a little better luck than I do. Hopefully he's got something better than a media credential.
Yeah, I think Tiger will be able to get across the 16th fairway
Should
just
be
fine.
all right. Okay.
A little bit better than you did. I'm kind of bummed by that. Listen, this is the way it's going to be going forward.
What's that?
Free agency is this week. The players is this week. So we're going to have days like this. Now, I don't think they're going to sign a franchise quarterback every year, although they now have done it 2 years in a row with Blake and now Nick Foles. But I'm kind of bummed for you because you have the weigh-in tomorrow and the fight, and so you can't go out to the players tomorrow with us.
No.
We are not out there today where the buzz really picks up. Saturday, you got the fight.
Yep.
Sunday, you maybe go out there Sunday?
Maybe, actually. So Kuz is going to be at Lynch's doing something over there, so I might go say hi to him at Lynch's.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Who knows?
And then stop by the players.
Maybe I'll stop by the players. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'll buy you a beverage if you stop by the
Sounds like a plan.
Players Championship. I can't be drinking. We're working. But
I might take you up on that.
I'd like to watch you drink after winning the fight.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
And I'll put a little ice in your cup, since I'm the ice guy.
You are the ice guy, for sure. You're the ice guy in spirit.
All right, Florida State wins in overtime, beats Virginia Tech. Florida wins in the SEC tournament. They beat Arkansas. That will get them in the dance, I think. Florida State obviously already in the dance. That's your update from the sports world as we continue to keep an eye on things. And just a reminder, our Players Championship coverage all week long brought to you by the law offices of John Phillips. And John Phillips has the Duval House just down the road. A big Jags fan as well. So let's get back to the Jaguars and wrap up today. Big day. I think it could be a huge day in Jaguars history that we look back on. And as we do look forward with Nick Foles, that means we also have to look back one last time at Blake Bortles. And really in the last 24 hours, I think there's been a lot of comments on social media. There's been a lot of conversation. But this was really our first time to talk to the Jaguars brass about Blake Bortles since it all went wrong. Dave Caldwell, Tom Coughlin, what did they have to say about extending Blake Bortles a year ago, how it didn't work, and everything that surrounded it? Take a listen.
Oh, I can't say enough good things about him. I really, saw him the other day on his way out. He's been a true professional. He's someone that I was, I'll always look back and be, honored to have been around. I mean, the way he handled himself with the press, the media, national media, taking sense of accountability, the way he worked. I really don't have anything negative to say.
The guy took us to the AFC Championship game, and there wouldn't have been anybody that would have disputed the fact that he deserved the opportunity, and we played well behind him, and our defense played well. So what we did at that point in time was try to again fortify our team around him. Obviously we feel bad that it didn't work, but remember, it wasn't all Blake, and but something had to be done. We wish it was better, but I have no regrets about that.
This past year, let's not forget we were 3-1, and I think he had 2 350-plus yard games, and he was doing some really good things, and we got beat up, and he just couldn't do it by himself. I told Blake that I don't regret drafting him. I don't regret giving him the extension. He earned that extension, and I do regret that it didn't work out. Like I said, if all of our players, handled their business the way he did, we'd be in good shape.
That's Dave Caldwell. Lastly, you heard from Doug Marrone about him as well, a stand-up guy. We know about Blake Bortles. And it's really Dave Caldwell, right, who drafted him and talked about, not the last part, about if everybody handles their business the way he does, but instead they don't regret giving them the extension. They don't regret drafting him. And Tom Coughlin said the same. It kind of full circle with our conversation today. Do you wholeheartedly believe that? Because they kind of have to say it. And years later now, how much of a miss was this for the organization on two fronts, drafting him and the extension?
I mean, do I believe what they say? I think they wholeheartedly believe that they made the right decisions on, obviously, A, drafting him, and B, re-signing him. Was it the right decision? Probably not. From a draft perspective, I felt like it was a guy that was getting a lot of comparisons to Ben Roethlisberger. I feel like, if you did live up to those expectations and those comparisons, the Jaguars would be in solid shape right now. They're obviously not. So from that perspective, I'm not going to knock the Jaguars for drafting Blake Bortles. The whole re-signing thing, I can see the perspective where they say, listen, we're going based off what we saw of him take us to the AFC Championship game. And Brent, you've said this many times, and I've agreed with you. I think Leonard Fournette had just as every much to do with the Jaguars' success that season of going to the AFC Championship game as Blake Bortles did. Now, you can say it's good business to reward that quarterback for taking you that far, and that's fine. But from his track record, from his stats and whatnot, we're talking about one good season, and they ended up paying him for that season, and it backfired. So from that perspective, I feel like maybe it wasn't the best decision to obviously re-sign him, but it is what it is. And, the Jaguars are living with it. The GM's living with it. Tom Coughlin's living with it. And they've made strides to make it better now by bringing in Nick Foles. So I think from a GM perspective, from Tom Coughlin's perspective, I truly believe they think that they made the right decision there. I honestly do.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to somebody last night about we had mentioned the draft, right? Who else would you have drafted? Mm-hmm. And I think, you can argue Jimmy Garoppolo, but he hasn't even played double-digit games in the NFL still, so we don't know much about that.
And he was coming from a small school in Eastern Illinois. Yeah. He had potential, but you didn't really know what you were getting.
Yeah, and Derek Carr, smaller in stature, coming out of Fresno State, right? A lot of talk about the quick game. Can he get it down the field? And I think the jury's still out on him, too. And I'm not giving up on Derek Carr, but I don't know. He's had a good season, but he hasn't been consistently good. Blake got his team farther than Derek Carr got his team. So, and then somebody brought up the point, but even look at the years after it. Like Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. I mean, jury's still out on those guys. It'll be interesting if we compile all those quarterbacks and how many of them have the accomplishments Blake Bortles has. Now, they probably won't have the turnovers Blake Bortles has. I get it. They probably won't do that. So it's just how you look at it. And I don't blame the organization for re-signing him. I think that's right. It would have been very hard to dump him after going to the AFC Championship game and 5 minutes away from the Super Bowl, and it looked like he was playing good football. And then the first quarter of this year, he beat the Patriots here in September. Looked like he was playing good football.
Playing great football.
I think your best argument against the Blake Bortles thing is why didn't they bring more competition in? You brought it up. I think everybody in Jacksonville's brought it up. So when they had to go to someone else, it wasn't Cody Kessler, but it was maybe somebody else they could hand the reins to. Well, they've now handed the reins. And Kuz, let's end the show. Well, not completely, but one last bit of reaction from today. Nick Foles now has to prove that he can be the guy for a full season, for a full 4 years. That's the one thing about Blake Bortles, man. He was durable. Never missed a snap that they wanted him to play in. Nick Foles talking about that.
I think the big thing is routine is so important. So throughout my years in the NFL and playing with different guys and being in different quarterback rooms, I've sort of found a rhythm that works for me during the week, whether it's film prep or recovering for the body or what it may be, recovery after a game. So I think the thing that I've really focused on is just staying in the moment, being present in that moment, because it's a long season, especially with the preseason. Then you go to the playoffs. There's a lot of work that comes into it or goes into it. So really just focusing on the moment, the task at hand, and I already know like a rhythm that I've done, and obviously I'll adjust as it goes here, but knowing that I know that is really important. So.
Well, there you go. That's Nick Foles, your quarterback here in Jacksonville, everybody. What else will they do around him? How well will he play? Did the Jags just land their franchise QB that'll take him to a place they've never been? Will he someday have his name appear on the Pride of the Jaguars? What do we have to do to get our name up here?
Just keep doing what we're doing, Brent.
Okay. Maybe there's a chance.
We'll get there one day.
But, hey, it's an exciting day in Jacksonville. I think it is. Listen, I'm a positive guy. Everybody knows that's listening and watching. But I don't see any reason to not be positive today if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. This is a hit and hope industry. It's entertainment. It's football. You have no idea. If everybody knew what you were going to get, it would be easy. And I think there's a lot of hope around this guy. I think it's going to be an interesting run. And now regime was right. And Nick Foles is about to play his best football of his career.
And listen, one more thing on Blake Bortles, because it's probably like the last time we're actually going to go in depth with him and conversate with him about him and whatever like that. So I don't know Blake Bortles personally, but listen, when it comes to the NFL, eventually people are going to forget about your stats, they'll forget about your interceptions, forget about your touchdowns, but people will never forget about the way that you treated them and the respect that you showed towards them. And everything that I've read about Blake Bortles is that he was a respectful person, he was a cool guy to hang out with, and that's something you can hang your hat on. So props to Blake Bortles for that.
Well, and the good thing is I think they just signed a guy like that too, and Nick Foles. Seems like a good dude, and he might be a better quarterback. We'll find out soon enough. Hey, thanks for hanging with us at Jags headquarters. What a day in Jacksonville. Talk about the players and more tomorrow back at TPC Sawgrass on a Friday. For Coos in Austin, I'm Brent Martineau. Good luck on fight night, man.
I'll go Monday. I won't be here tomorrow.
Go win that fight Saturday night and go check them out at the Morocco Shrine. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on TV in like 2 minutes on CBS 47.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
We've got limited bathrooms here in the building, and sometimes on occasion, if they have a room empty, I'm allowed to go in between shows and use a bathroom to freshen up. I hear people coming in, and I'm just yelling, "Wait a minute!" But my plan gets exposed when I hear, "Hey, Dan Le Batard!"
The Dan Le Batard Show, now 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
Hey, it's Bill with Bill Fenwick Plumbing. I have yet to meet anyone that has woken up in the morning and said, "Hot dog, today I'm calling a plumber." Usually it's, who am I going to call and can they take care of